I'm like, no, Sergeant. He goes, those are aviator ones. Yes, he said, you're the one I heard about or whatever. I said, that's probably me, Sergeant Major. He said, you're going, right?
Uh-huh.
I was like, but the Lakotas are supposed to come in.
Well, you done had me cover your flank. You owed me that. And that's a big flank.
The very next drill. Now, this was not it's supposed to be in my realm, but TP White goes, Madsen, you need to cover drill for the entire battalion next month. Training.
For what?
Well, we ended up doing IEDs. I medical and IED. So I had a buddy of mine bring in a Huey.
Yeah.
Took him around and flew him back out to when Macon was in the fence out there. God, I can't remember what it was called out there. It had the old OV1 Mohawk out there.
Yeah.
So they flew him back and forth. We did, so we set up the mobile hospital.
It's funny how you forget things after you leave it.
Yeah, God, yeah, man.
1030 Sherling Drive. I know exactly where it's at.
Are we ready to start the show? 1 minute. So
1 minute.
Set up all this stuff, and right at the end, I wrote the fucking op order for all this stuff. So when we're done, I'm like freaking exhausted. I haven't slept in like 3 days. And he walks up to me and goes, after action report. I went, right now, Sergeant Major? He said, yeah, get
Before
your guys
you
together.
leave. Exactly.
Freaking after action report.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, 2 hours later.
So stuff doesn't go stale in your mind.
And he had a copy of the damn op order. So he goes, okay, let's see. And who was late, who didn't have the right amount of people, who didn't bring equipment, remember, because the one captain, he ended up being really cool, but this one captain blew through my force protection, and we went after him,
And so what happened was the next day, I go down to the brigade, and they're just nailing it.
Okay.
And I'm like, hey, here's what we did right. Here's what we did wrong.
Yeah.
Done.
Good deal.
All right, we're about to go live, folks, on the radio.
Okie doke.
Woohoo! Everybody excited?
Yeah.
All right.
I got wood.
Yeah, it's on the table right here.
Hey, folks, it's Just for Fun Radio, and unfortunately, you're listening to The World According to Mike. That would be me. So this show is officially Military Mike approved. All right, hey, we got a lot of people in the studio today, so probably gonna have to use Lysol in the morning. I just found out earlier I got to do the morning show too. So, hey, let's do some introductions real quick. Of course, we got Xander Mack.
Good evening.
The owner of Tech Talk on Tuesday nights, helping me out running the board because we're still looking for an engineer. We're looking for an intern. Across from me, I'm losing. Across from me, I've got Command Sergeant Major Barry Smallwood, retired.
That's retired. Thank you very much.
Well, how do you do that? You don't say retired Command Sergeant Major, do you?
No, you CSM retired.
CSM retired.
You drop to a lower base retired.
One hung too low. And then to his left would be Chief Warrant Officer retired. Right? Shelley Huber. All right. What? Desert Storm, OIF,
Yes.
all those
Desert
things.
Storm.
Yep. Then to my right, drum roll, please. Command Chief Warrant Officer 5.
Retired.
Old Moose Knuckle.
Old Moose Knuckle.
Wow. Is that a title?
That's a title.
That's cool.
I've got it written on the inside of my ACU cap from Afghanistan.
And some Jack Daniels glasses.
Yep.
Now the actual shot glasses. It's Command Chief Warrant Officer retired. Paul Huber.
Yeah.
Now, what was that title that you were telling me you had?
Which one?
Yeah, really. I know in Afghanistan it could have been Chief Warrant Officer busting my ass all the time.
Yeah, it was Old Great Moose Knuckle.
Old Great
He
Moose
coined
Knuckle,
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember going over to the Tactical Operations Center one day because they said, you better get up there now. And I ran up there and you were sitting behind my desk.
Waiting.
You had your feet up on my desk.
Waiting.
And you said, why don't you just stand at parade rest for a second?
Good work.
And so I was standing there and I was thinking, okay, we're going to get right to it. No, you just kept making me stand there.
Yeah.
That's when Colonel Carter walks in and goes, what's up, Matt? Oh, never mind.
Yeah. I still remember that picture of Uncle Fester that you hung up at Atterbury, though.
Oh, yeah.
That was just awesome.
Was that Atterbury or is that JRTC?
That was Atterbury.
That was
But
Atterbury.
it followed you too, JRTC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember. Yeah. Those were the days, huh? Does anybody
telling
miss it?
Miss the people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Miss the
not me. I miss the Porta Johns and the Lima Beans at JRTC.
I got Porta Johns every day on the job site, so I still got that.
Are you working? What are you doing these days?
I work for Habitat for Humanity.
Oh, hey, that sounds like a plan. And then Alex, you're a civil engineer, right?
A project manager for a civil engineering firm.
Cool. All these people with important jobs. Shelley, what are you up to these days?
I'm selling Pampered Chef and sitting at home letting Paul take care of me.
Good one.
I'm trying.
Then across the table, the big guy. What are you up to these days?
I finished up my degrees and cooking for the wife.
Cooking for the wife. I know it's amazing how you send pictures of smoked chicken. And,
Oh yes,
He's proud of his green egg.
yeah.
Damn
He's working
skippy.
the ground egg. The
green egg's awesome.
Green egg, blue egg. You ever do any like salmon?
Yes,
Salmon would be awesome.
put it on cedar plank. Put a little maple syrup on top of it.
Now, see, now we're talking.
A little orange zest on top of the maple. Oh yeah.
You know, I've known this man for years. Other than tomato sandwiches, I can't really think of ever talking
400, 426 tomato sandwiches in one deployment.
You realize? Did you know he was doing that? When in 2009 to 2010,
Exactly.
he ate over 400
What were you doing?
tomato sandwiches.
There was no food worth eating there at the chow hall there.
that-
Oh, I know.
Phoenix.
Oh, that food
I know.
sucked.
So I mean, I actually had people sending me green tomatoes in the mail, and they would be ripe
And
by
you-
the time they got there.
Oh hell!
He had-
Seriously.
He
You did tell me about
it. He had a special mayonnaise too. That doesn't sound right, but he had a mayonnaise.
and mixed.
Topical solution, thank you.
What was it? Dukes, right?
Dukes.
Dukes.
Oh, there's only one mail. I mean,
Dukes
Dukes.
mayonnaise.
Yeah,
Tomatoes, salt and pepper, right?
That was it.
And it,
that's all you need.
That's
every,
maybe-
Paul's favorite sandwich. I
maybe
can't
a
believe
slice
you
of
didn't give him
onion.
one.
geez, what is going
I'm
on?
not
with the
sharing.
world?
And that's why I
426.
said, yeah.
Freaking over 100 years worth of military experience sitting at the stable right now.
Hell, there's over 60 just
And-
between us two, and you had him
Well,
in
I
there.
was trying to be nice.
Yeah, and there's 4 walkers at the door.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
And a handicap sticker in the car.
You know what's funny is we're going to have to definitely turn off the mics if we all get up at the same time and be like, oh!
Sound like a bowl of Rice Krispies going on.
That's why I did it before we got him.
Well, you were always the smart one.
Well, you got snap, crackle, and pop. What are you, Mike?
Yeah. You know what? I'll hold it. I'm wearing a diaper. I'll just-
Depends. You know.
Yeah.
It depends.
If you guys start looking at me and I'm looking kind of up, it's not the Zoloft. It's the Depends.
Right.
Yeah. So, gosh, so many things. We had some talking points. We'll get to those. But what about the news today about, you know her personally, don't you? Hillary Clinton?
Wow.
She's looking for something
Wow.
to throw.
You just tried, yeah, I'm looking for something.
Oh, my God. How about that, huh? Because I really didn't do anything other than get in trouble with you in Afghanistan.
You
but
never
I spent,
got in trouble with
I
me.
spent I remember you printing out my Facebook comments and making me sit at a table while you corrected my grammar and punctuation
That
with
was
a red
awesome.
pen.
That was awesome.
And every time I was like, oh, the hell with this, I'm getting up, you were like, oh, no, you're not.
If you're going to do it right, damn it.
Everybody thought he was an English grad.
Yeah.
I'm like, he just
always
likes to
correcting.
do, his dissertations.
I tell you, I think I was
That's
probably
great.
part of the master's thesis or something. But we always ventured out, and there were times that we were over at doing the PSD thing. For those of you that don't know, that's a personal security detail in the military, and Sergeant Major and I would be waiting on somebody to come in or something, and General McChrystal would be there, coming in and out, and so we're all sitting there and we're grummy and stinky, and I'm yelling because they're like, hey, there's General McChrystal, and I'm like, hey, Mac, and he's like, shut up. And
And then Sergeant Major Hall behind him.
Sergeant Major Hall, I don't know if y'all know him, but God, if McChrystal was to stop fast, you would literally have to extract his ass from his head from his ass. It was terrible. Yeah, I'm not in anymore, so all these people. Where you at, Herndon? Rick? I can do that now. So But so we were always, out there and getting in trouble and doing all these other things. And it was like, remember when everybody's phone went off when Hillary landed?
Right.
We were standing outside of F4 out there, and we look up and damn, not Air Force One, but it looks Air Force Two or
Air Force Two.
Yeah, number 2. Imagine.
Yeah.
So the bitch is flying in, and she's coming in right over our head, and we all looked at each other. And we went, well, that wasn't Air Force One. And then all of a sudden, everybody's phones went off. Beep, 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 beep. We had to haul ass over there.
Transportation requests, management requests, movement, rooms, everything.
Oh,
And it
good
sucked.
God.
Yeah. So, and to see this woman, and I despise her. I've got a couple pictures of her pretty up close. There's that one that, remember the one bodyguard, and very similar to Barry's size and all.
Yeah.
And he's got that, they don't turn their heads, they just turn their eyes. But every time this guy's looking over at her, which you never do when you're on a security detail, you don't look at your principal. He keeps looking at her like, bitch, I'm going to kill you. And we're all going, look, the Secret Service is going to kill her.
Uh-huh.
So, well, Secret
must have been,
Service doesn't protect her when she was secretary. It was Diplomatic Security Corps.
Diplomatic Security Corps.
DSC. Yeah. So those guys are pretty cool, carrying the federal badges. I remember going, because the guy showed me a badge, and I went, we don't need no stinking badges.
We're in Ass-Crackistan.
Yeah,
That's right.
Bagistan. So, but so you called me earlier today and said, "Hey, did you see what's going on with Hillary?" Every day. What is it? How is it that this woman gets away with all this? Does anybody have an answer? I mean,
Well, you think about it. Every individual right now that's going up for an office, president, that's the one that's in the news right now. There's a team somewhere trying to pin something on them to try to discredit them.
I agree.
All the military personnel, government employees who work with classified material understand you got to sign a non-disclosure agreement.
Right.
And if you cross that non-disclosure agreement, it comes back to haunt you. I mean, look at Petraeus. He just talked about some emails and things of that nature.
Exactly.
And
With his biographer.
a biographer.
Right.
And he's looking to lose a star here. What we talked about
Which
earlier.
is like an annual salary for
Exactly.
The rest of the
everybody
world.
else. Yeah.
And all of a sudden now, it looks like it's going to be just pushed off to the side and forgotten about when it comes to the releasing of the quote above top secret information that she had on her BlackBerry.
Right.
Now, something I find interesting is you had brought up a topic before we went on the air tonight about the levels of classification above top secret. Most people hear of classified material. Most people hear of secret clearance. Most people hear of top secret clearance. But I don't think there's a lot of people out there that realize, other than the James Bond for your eyes only shit. But I'm talking about, can you just quickly, I know that was your kind of thing there for a while.
So what you have, you have your unclassified, then you have confidential, secret, top secret, and then you have sensitive compartmented information, which is the echelons or levels above top secret.
First level above top secret. Right.
And what you're looking at there is information that resides only with individuals. You need to know where it comes from, how it was collected, and what platform.
Okay,
Like
now
that.
obviously that'd be below Secretary of State, so maybe like a congressman, a senator. Is that what we're kind of talking about?
It's still in the same realm.
Okay, all right.
Right.
Because I mean, there's a lot of these guys that are like Troy Gowdy. He's
Right.
he's
Gowdy.
on Trey.
Big
See,
difference.
he's still freaking correcting me.
Sorry, dude.
It works.
Yeah, it's a problem. It
Well,
works.
see,
I got a gun around here somewhere. Damn it.
with those subcommittees that they're on,
Yeah.
they handle this information.
Okay.
So for them to independently strip off the classification caveat and send it out on an unclassified means, that's not kosher. That doesn't work.
It's not kosher.
I think one of the other problems was, and self-admittedly, she never got onto a government server.
How do you get
in
away
the
with
first
that?
place? How do you get away
How
with that?
do you
as
get away with that?
Secretary of
That I
State?
don't know.
Seriously?
Damn, it's ridiculous.
That's releasing your own liability. I do not want to be responsible.
I don't
for
want to
something.
be tied to this.
Yes.
Remember when we were talking about moving our location down to Polycharky?
Right.
And then they talked about the secret hub and what it was going to entail just to put in that hub so we could use our
SIPRNet.
laptops, our SIPRNet.
SIPRNet.
Yeah. And it was astronomical, just
Yeah.
money wise. And so she can just circle navigate all this national protection programs and projects and everything else that are, because I know that it's constantly updating, correct?
Yes.
For encryption and all. So she
Right.
just circle navigates us and gets a Gmail account.
She just strips off the caveat, sends it to an email account, prints it off, scans it, and then sends the information.
Does that concern anybody else? Because I got hacked and I called you because Robert Tadlock sent me a thing about government funding grants. And I called him and I said, did Tad get hacked? And yeah, so obviously, you know, we talked about it and it's like, yeah, but okay, so mealy little mouth me, I get hacked.
By the way, how long ago was that? Because I just got a friend request from Tadlock again.
Today.
It was today.
Oh, okay,
It's been
great.
really
Yeah.
The thing,
Most
Yeah, it
I
had.
need to delete that friend request.
most security experts say it would be a miracle if the server was not compromised.
Was not
Wow,
compromised. Okay, so
wow.
And we don't know if she's going to get away with it yet. It
Exactly.
depends. It
Oh,
honestly
man.
depends what the FBI come up with.
has
and
she
whether-
been indicted? Has
And
she been
whether, well,
charged?
is whatever
Not
they
yet.
come up with, is it going to implicate her directly? Or is it going to implicate a third party company that was supposed to comply with DOD regulations and didn't, and she's in the clear?
Well,
This is what
That
we're waiting to
snake's
find
gonna get
out.
away with it.
And
one-
the thing is that she's a Clinton and she's untouchable.
and somebody will die.
Oh, so,
No.
yeah, several,
Yeah.
several.
Uh-oh.
The one thing that came
Vince
out from
Foster?
the special investigator that was on the review panel so far is that it was a top secret document, information above
I
it,
remember that.
but it was placed on an unclassified machine.
Right.
Right. So someone, and it goes back to what you're saying, who's going to be the fall person for this?
Yeah.
Will it be the Iranian support person that she has?
It'll be a movie on YouTube, obviously.
See, I know what he's doing. I know what he's
That's
doing
okay.
because of her assistant, Clinton's assistant. What's her
Yes.
damn name?
Forget her name, but she is a
She's yeah.
Yes.
She wears
natural born
mhm.
Iranian.
Yes.
I forgot
Yeah, we were prepared for this part of the
Oh,
conversation.
well, whatever.
Uma.
What is
Valerie
that
Jarrett.
chick's
Uma.
name? What was it?
Uma
Uma.
Abedin.
Yeah.
Okay, now from what I understand, now this isn't this may be something in the background here, but about a month ago, didn't it come out that she was sped through the citizenship?
She was sped through the citizenship.
Or
from what I
fast track?
understand. But
Who was she
All right,
married to?
Oh, I don't know.
that I don't know.
Jesus.
But we got to go
Freaking-
back.
hold on, let me bring up TMZ.
Go back 20.
No, this is a good one. Wait,
Who was
who was
she
she
married?
married to?
I don't know.
Was it Anthony,
Anthony
Weiner?
Weiner?
Anthony Weiner.
The dude, the
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh my god.
Yeah, the Twitter dick guy.
The Twitter.
Are you I
the
never knew
original
this.
dick
I
pic.
love
This
it.
is great.
That is amazing.
So how long is she married to him?
However, she
I think
won't
she
be
still
the.
is
She
married.
will not be the scapegoat.
Oh,
She's
no.
a friend of Hillary's. They're going to find. They'll find somebody at one of these third-party server or
You're right.
security
I tell you
companies
right.
to
And-
lay all this
and-
blame on, and
yeah.
she'll walk away clean.
And every last one of us sitting here at the table with military experience, I'm not trying to cut you out, Alex, but I'm just saying,
Will be suspended
if you
tomorrow.
guys really think that Lieutenant Colonel Ollie North was the approving authority for that weapons exchange, you're an idiot because it happened a lot further up the chain than a lieutenant colonel.
Well, it's funny the coincidence. And I was asking how long has she been married to him? Because you go back to 1991, 92 when the bill came into office.
Right.
CCF, Central Clearance Facility, would not issue any security clearances to anybody on his staff because of all of the drug charges,
Right,
criminal,
right,
everything back. So what they did is they went back and had the presidential decree change the requirement for clearance from 20 years for an SCI to 7. Because they went back and found at 7 years they were all good. So that's the requirement to change the security clearance.
Alex Jones and InfoWars, bite my ass, brother. This is the world according to Mike, and we're bringing up real topics. Wow, that's amazing. Because I've heard of that with like companies,
Right.
their insurance for their employees. If you need a 7-year MVR,
Right.
Well, what you do is you get it changed to a 3-year, but you're going to pay more in your deductible. So interesting that they do the same thing with freaking secret vetting or classified information vetting.
Right.
Wow. Okay, so let's where are we, Alex? We about at a commercial here or
2 minutes.
2 minutes? So kind of I'm gonna summarize real quick here. Holy crap. All right, so we got Hillary Clinton changing the caveats for the classification of emails that are above top secret level. We talked about the levels above top secret. We're talking about an scapegoat. I think personally, the world according to Mike thinks that what's going to happen is she's going to throw it off as a GOP attempt to sabotage her presidential candidacy. Okay, so she's going to blame the Republicans tied up as a confusion. They're everybody's saying,
But
"What the hell with you? I got a damn gun."
the thing here, you got to realize it was not everybody who signed her NDA, and she admitted to signing the non-disclosure agreement.
So she's
The one that's liable, even though they're going to do exactly what Alex said, is they're going to pass it off to somebody
Right.
else.
yeah, somebody's going to be
Somebody's
the
gonna fall.
scapegoat. Somebody's going to get hurt.
And if it should happen to be Uma Adine, of course it's going to happen to her. She goes back home and
Yeah.
she takes Wiener with her. I don't know.
I and man, you know I got to be a professional here and say it. So Uma, I'd never do this, is married to, how did you say it, Alex?
Anthony Weiner. Well, Twitter dick guy.
Twitter dick guy.
Right.
Twitter wiener.
So is it Uma Wiener?
Oh wow,
Stand that one.
man! The first segment went to hell in
Yeah.
a handbasket.
Let's
And that
jump to a break real
handbasket
quick and
handle
we'll
just broke.
let's jump to a break and then pick it back up.
We'll do it. This is the
All
world
right.
according to Mike. Phew, man, isn't that? See what happens when you get people in the same room?
Well, he remembers things. I remember things.
I don't remember shit.
I try not to remember.
I'm not with you.
Unfortunately, my memory is the only thing that didn't get broke last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, congressman for New York, wasn't he?
New Jersey?
New Jersey, was
New
it?
Jersey. I think it was New Jersey. Was caught sending pictures as a Wiener or something. New York and no, New Jersey's was gay. He was the one that said he was gay.
Oh, I had no idea.
I had to throw that.
Remember,
Okay.
the camera's still rolling.
Yep, camera still rolling.
Well, yeah, I mean, and you know what happens with that, just so everybody knows, is
There he is.
we signed an agreement with you two. It's live.
New York's 9th
When we're
Congressional
done,
District.
it goes into an archiving
Yep.
gray area where they supposedly screen it, censor it, whatever. Because we're not allowed to play the music that runs on the station like 24/7 because of music rights and all that other stuff. So, damn it. Oh my God, you got a picture of him in a Speedo?
Oh no, I wasn't gonna. I'm trying to move this browser to where
Put
I
it
can
on YouTube.
resize it.
He's holding up a wiener. That's beautiful. You got to love Photoshop.
That's terrible. That's terrible.
Just,
Are in the Wikipedia one or what?
no, I think he's looking in Yahoo.
He's
Yeah,
got
well,
it.
I'm trying to resize this. I can't grab the bottom of this browser.
Trying to
resize it.
resize the wiener. I can't grab it.
I hate with Kung Fu grip, baby.
It won't work in the corner, the left-hand corner
No.
up
You
top.
gotta understand we
Two
have about
sexual
8.
scandals.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I knew he had 2.
The first was dubbed Wienergate, led to his resignation. The second, during his attempt to return to politics as politics.
Wait a minute, I gotta write that down.
Politics
I'm writing all these comments down.
as a candidate for
From my
mayor
time
of
on the
New York
radio,
City.
it's going to be a coffee table book, and we're about to talk about politics. You'll get a footnote for it.
Yeah. At tip all over.
Politics.
Politics footnote.
What's with the blanket?
It's not a blanket. That is actually a quilt that was given to me by
Potato
a very
potato.
sweet lady.
Yeah, I mean that is kind of 6 of one, half dozen of the other, right?
That was a
So she made it?
quilt.
Yeah.
It's a quilt.
She made it for you.
Yeah,
I personally did not make it. It was made by a friend of
yeah. It's for veterans and all. It's really,
mine. It's for someone
But-
that's been touched by war.
yeah.
Yep.
One of the last times I saw Shelly, she was singing Amazing Grace at a funeral. Fallen warriors. We unfortunately had to bury 7 right as we were getting on the plane.
Yep.
They just shipped over before us, and 7 of them got killed. And it was so weird when Bobby.
I remember the last time I saw Shelley was there at Hunter or at Fort Stewart, out there on the air deck, on the deck. I come walking in and she says, "Hi." I picked her up, kissed her on the cheek. She goes, "Oh my." I said, "Yeah, your husband's right behind me. I had to steal a kiss before he got it."
I think I saw you at in Wisconsin during that snowstorm in that one big building.
I don't think so.
Yeah. No, it was. This was way before.
I was gonna say, weren't you up there for
I
our
did my
memorial for
watch
Davy
on
Weaver?
up in Wisconsin.
1
I
minute.
thought you were.
Mike.
Okay.
Thought you were.
Nope.
She didn't go to Wisconsin. She got she was the HAC commander while
Fort McCoy.
Last time I was at Fort McCoy was
Did I pick you up from the airport? Did I pick you up from the airport?
Pick me up.
Okay. I remember
Which airport?
picking you
Yeah, you picked me
a
up
couple
at
times.
the airport. Yeah.
And then you picked me up one time.
Yep.
At the other place. Because of Q, remember? Yeah, we had to talk about that.
Perfect hair.
Yeah. Yeah, buddy.
Mike, I apologize.
Or
I understand now. You're trying to talk to somebody. Bing, 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 bing.
nobody understands that until you're sitting here.
That's right.
You know? And you're trying to be nice to folks, and yeah. Are they still married? All right, we're coming back. All right, we're back. This is the World According to Mike. We got
Here in
a
Aberdeen.
Aberdeen. We got a whole studio full of great folks today. Just a real quick, we got shout out to Alex for helping me with the board. He's the host of Tech Talk on Tuesday nights on Just for Fun Radio, part of the Just for Fun Radio family. Of course, we got the morning shows, 7:30 to 10, and then on Thursday nights, Ladies Talk with DJ Smiles. But tonight we've got a couple guests. I'd like to just run back through them. They're all retired. I'm just going to say that.
Geriatric
The geriatric. Sergeant Major Barry Smallwood, retired. He had pointed out that, there's 4 walkers at the door. So then we've got CW4 Shelley Huber and commander of the Galactic Empire, CW5.
Tower and the lightsaber.
1,000 points of light.
Old Moose Knuckle.
Paul Moose Knuckle Huber.
Moose.
Mosh.
Good.
All right. And I'm
Still
not even
gotta
going to
correct
ask
him.
what
Good
everybody's
God.
affiliation with college football is, because I can only imagine this being a tough crowd.
Go Dogs.
Yeah, I figured it.
I don't remember that Facebook post you said. The reason you're doing that is because you're kids.
Boy, there used to be a lot of screaming and yelling going on in conference rooms during
Did you,
football.
did you see that post that came up right before the championship game between Clemson and Bama? Somebody said rooting for Alabama because they're from the SEC is like rooting for the devil because he's mentioned in the Bible.
Wow.
Yeah.
What?
That's
Oh.
my football team.
Oh, okay. Alex
Which one?
has got it.
Alabama?
Well, no, you
Athletic.
got to remember Alex is from the UK, so he's got a whole different outlook on football.
That's rugby football right there, Michael.
They don't touch.
Oh,
Yeah,
come on. There's one that's better than rugby. It's Australian rules football.
That's crazy.
That's
Aussie
awesome.
rules football is
The guy,
awesome.
the guy
That's
with the little
awesome.
yellow jackets going.
I wouldn't say it's better than rugby, but I'm English.
Right.
So,
Mind you, the Australians wouldn't either. They love their rugby.
That's an awesome game.
yep. We had a guy that
Okay,
played
what's the
on
difference between cricket and baseball then?
They
Oh,
run back and forth.
it would take
We run it
a week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd take more than that.
The rules of cricket are
unbelievable.
pretty complex.
Mhm.
I tell you what, I've been doing radio now for a little while, and I've never had an Amazon page up on the studio monitor for Ireland's rugby shirts.
Yeah.
Hey, it's the world according to Mike. Maybe we should let's all do the Ireland accent.
They're
for,
cheap too.
That's because they're from Ireland. Did anybody ever stop over in Shannon, Ireland on the way overseas?
Oh yes.
What a homely airport that was.
Oh, there's a story on that one.
I can imagine. Sergeant Major tried to get me arrested in freaking Romania. There was a girl that was searching us.
Oh, that was wild.
And he's like, go talk to her, Madsen. Go talk to her, Madsen. I'm like, I don't think that chick wants anybody to be flirting with her.
She was pretty tough. looking.
She was tough.
Oh, yeah.
So I was, of course, when she's patting me down, I'm like, ooh, ah, and then she stopped and looked at me. I went, damn, I'm just kidding.
If,
I don't want to end
Madsen-
up in a.
if you put a wig on, he'd look just like her.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, she was a big girl.
Awesome.
She was a big girl. She smelled
That's what the
good. She
problem
smelled like
was.
diesel fuel and Cheetos.
Surprised it didn't smell like JP8 or something.
Yeah,
like
well,
that.
you know, JP8 is diesel
Yeah,
fuel for all practical
kerosene.
purposes. Some of that F40, you know. All right, so God, all right, get back on topic. Let's all agree by a show of hands who would prefer Hillary Rodham Clinton not being the president in 2016. Okay, we have all agreed on something that will never happen again.
It
Who?
will if I say it.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, jeez.
Yes, ma'am.
Touche.
How about Bernie Sanders? I'll pick on the Democrats first, and then I'll swing over to my buddy. Bernie Sanders, no comment. I agree. He's crazy.
You need a soundboard with crickets.
Yeah, he's God. Can you imagine?
Funny thing is, he's surging ahead in the polls.
Yeah, that's
Yes, he
that's why
is.
I'm kind of going this way with the topics tonight because
You know, that
she's going to get hopefully caught, and he's going to go to the top.
Okay.
there's a prevailing sentiment that people are sick of establishment politicians. And I was talking to Stephen about this last night because
Right.
he supports Bernie. He works on his campaign. And I said, do you view Bernie as outside of the establishment? And I think the consensus is, in a sense, yes. He's placed himself almost outside of the establishment.
I know, but some of the stuff he says, now it could be me. I'm twisted and I was dropped a lot as a child. But some of the stuff he says, when I hear it and I listen to it, I just sit there and I think in my mind, even at a basic level,
Right.
why is it hard for me to understand that the rest of the world doesn't understand it the same way I do? And saying it's impossible.
How much free stuff are you getting?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I drive a
No,
2001 Dodge Neon there, boss.
That's a whole nother subject because you and I drawing VA, we're getting free stuff according
Well,
to
I mean,
the strictest sense of the word.
yeah,
Exactly.
Even though
I'm
we
getting
work
rated
our
too,
butts
but
off
I
for
didn't
it.
get my cell phone.
yeah, I'm
No, I
rated
didn't
too.
get my cell phone either.
But here, what about
Okay.
the thing? What about college? Okay, because I mean, we've all lived abroad, and I'm here to tell you that like some of the educational systems, higher education in
Right.
Europe and all, is much better than what we have here. Some of these doctorates are making a tremendous amount of money, and it's costing our kids. My son is up at Southern Polytech, and I'm going back to Embry-Riddle now. My classes are staggering, the cost of my classes.
Right.
And so, and I'm doing the online thing. I mean, basic aerodynamics is
Right.
going to cost me $1,500, and a 5-year-old can do basic aerodynamics. I mean, basic aerodynamics is
Can't you
like,
clap out of that crap or something?
Well,
I mean, good
I-
God, you were an aviator at one
well,
time.
I know, but the whole thing about it is I had a cream for CLEP. You talking about clap or CLEP?
Clap.
Clap. Oh, completely different thing. They both
And
itch.
it's shots for clap anyway.
Oh, you get a shot for. How would you
We're-
know that, Paul?
We're
Guy I
talking.
work with.
We're talking
God,
class, not a petri dish.
Oh
Oh,
man, I just can't believe it. And I'm my master's will be basically in professional aeronautics with a emphasis on drones with unmanned vehicles, right? So you have to have a drone. So
Right.
the drone I had to purchase, I could get one from the school, which would be trashed, or
Right.
you get your own. And so I had to spend close to $3,000 on a
Mhm.
drone. And
What's the weight of that drone?
oh no, I know what you're trying to do to me, and
Yeah.
yes, I had to register it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
Exactly.
but the point
Less
I'm
than
trying to
3
make is that
No,
he's
it's even less than that,
talking
I
about
think.
free college level classes or education, maybe an associate, maybe a 2-year.
He's talking about your associate's degree at a state college being free.
But how is that going to be?
How can we not afford? I mean, do you think we can't afford it?
Yes,
Other countries afford it.
but they don't do it that way.
But the
They
one-
do. Germany does it. Sweden does
Sure.
it.
Finland does it.
Finland does it
After 12 years or at 9, 10?
for college.
for college.
College, associate's degree, 2-year
But the
college.
deci-
High school's free for you anyway. Here,
I know,
so
well,
after
well, it's really
12,
not-
it doesn't matter.
really not free.
Yeah,
It's
you
really
still
not
Well, sure,
paying
it's not free, but
property
you
tax.
get what I'm saying.
property
Yeah.
tax, yeah.
Right.
But the issue here is not the college; it's the decision that's made in Germany and those other countries at an earlier time in school, like in elementary school, on what this kid's going to do.
Right.
Are you well, not so much are you worthy, but something
Tracking.
to that extent.
What are you
Yeah,
going
what
to
do
do?
you
Does
track?
your
Career.
future
Yeah.
look like
Right.
it
They
holds
start
college in it?
elocutional programs at
Yes.
age 10 or 11,
Yes,
just like we did in England.
Okay.
And that's what we should do here.
I
But
agree.
the curriculum is set on a national level. The school system's run by unions, and it's never going to happen. They don't care about educating kids. They
Okay,
care about
so
protecting their jobs.
Let's talk about this. Obviously, the sway in public school is going towards homeschooling because of the Common Core
Quite a
crap, and okay, so which I think is a good idea. How is this going to play in? Okay, how do you go from homeschooling up till 9th, 10th, 11th, wherever you've got to qualify for this so-called free associate's degree?
Well, because anybody that's homeschooled still has to meet the same
State law.
eligibility
They're-
requirements.
they're
Here's
pretty light,
here's
though.
where you're going to run into the problem. Is obviously demand is going to far outweigh supply, and they're going to have to somehow. I think what they will do is means test people out of the system. And I think a lot of the placement will be offered to poor kids and kids from inner city areas, which I get, I understand, but I think that's going to be at the expense of kids from wealthier districts.
Now, the kids that were involved in all the Ferguson nonsense, do you think those kids are going to go to school if you paid them?
I don't know what kids you're talking about. The rioters, do
Yeah,
you mean?
yeah.
I'm sure a lot of
Yeah,
them
they-
go to school.
No, that's the thing. In Ferguson, they were saying there's 12-year-olds that aren't attending school. So
I
even
mean,
if you paid those kids to go to school, are they going to go to school?
No, it's a parent problem.
yeah, I
That's
mean,
True,
that
true.
is-
It's got to be
that's-
that's got to be
that's-
maintained, and put the responsibility's got to be pushed down. But
I'm just
what do
trying.
you- what do
I'm
you
trying
do?
to get people to their free education. That's all I'm talking about.
well, and you talk about education. Are we teaching what needs to be taught? Are we teaching to
Uh-huh.
learn a job, or are we teaching to pass an exam?
exactly.
Well, pass an exam because that's how the teachers are going to be paid. I mean, that's
But-
their structure. Their,
Okay,
their
what happened to the
performance.
Atlanta public school system?
got
over
a
the past
hole ripped in it.
Yes.
Yeah, got a hole ripped in it.
Exactly.
So
But just don't think Atlanta's that's the only
Oh
one
no,
doing
it's
that.
not. No.
yeah, it's-
Atlanta's a microcosm for everything that's going on nationwide. Because
Exactly.
somewhere out there, the same thing's happening in other countries.
I would,
You
yeah.
know, and we just
Absolutely.
don't see other local radio
Yeah.
or other local TV stations.
Wow. You know, it's you could somebody posted today on one of my feeds there about if you think about all this stuff, if you take this stuff in on a daily basis, you will be so freaking depressed. And it does. You have to kind of take it with a grain of salt or jump in it with both feet.
I mean, we watch the news at home, and we just started doing it here about a month ago. And it has stimulated conversation because the wife, she starts losing her blood pressure. She starts getting mad. She starts talking. I'm like, this is great.
Oh, there
Finally
you
get Cindy to talk to you.
go. No deal.
All right, so
that
we
keeps
covered
him off the
Bernie.
green
Who's
egg,
next?
Well, I wanted to take just to keep it comedic here and kind of throw in some of this. The new craze going around is the what if. What would you rather? So I got to ask Paul,
Sir.
would you rather smell like poop and not know it, or constantly be smelling poop that nobody else can smell?
I would rather be constantly smelling poo that nobody else could smell.
Okay, so you're a self defeatist there.
Oh well.
Shelly, eat only roadkill for the rest of your life, or have everyone else in the world sound like Gilbert Godfrey?
What did you
Who's
give me that?
Gilbert Godfrey?
You the guy that maybe I had some money and
He's got a very yeah,
Jesus,
he sounds like the Affleck duck is
See,
right.
I don't watch television.
I'm sorry. The parrot on Aladdin.
Oh well, see, I don't mind the parrot. I think he's kind of cute.
And see, I don't mind roadkill, so you know.
Okay, this isn't a marital share thing.
Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry about that.
You
We
gotta-
share
yeah.
just about everything. So,
Wow.
Well,
Maybe.
so
What was that congressman's name?
Yeah. Tonight at 21:30.
yeah, we won't quite be home yet, but
Yeah,
maybe,
I hear you. I thank you guys for coming out. All right, Barry, here's yours.
it is our anniversary Friday, so
All right,
Yeah.
460.
Shut up.
Okay. Have taste buds on your butthole or poop through your mouth. Look at that face.
Gilbert Godfrey.
Yeah. All right, Alex, you even get one. Always,
I don't play with you.
always. I know you don't play with me. Always have to say everything on your mind. Imagine that, or never be able to speak again.
I just say what's on my
I was
mind,
about
like,
to say that.
such as would you rather games are stupid.
Yeah. Well, I just trying to get what people have asked.
Good
for.
point. Good point.
Okay. All right. So, is there anybody else? Is the third guy in the Democratic?
Martin O'Malley.
Martin O'Malley.
Has anybody got anything for him? He's single digit numbers. It's all between Bernie and Hillary, I
Yeah,
believe.
he's sort of a lone horse.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
about 4%.
4%. That's what I thought. I don't think he ever broke into double digits.
The other
so.
part of that is who's to say that Bernie Sanders is not going to switch parties sometime during the campaign? I
Ooh.
mean, he started out
I think that
Democrat.
about Donald Trump.
Well, yeah, well, see, that's
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a top. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
I-
coming up in a minute.
Well,
yeah,
he's
that's
been
another
Democrat
thing, too.
forever.
Yeah,
No,
wow,
Bernie
geez.
has not.
No, I'm talking about Trump.
Oh yeah, Trump has, man.
Yeah.
But Bernie went Democrat, Republican, Independent. Now he's back to Democrat.
Yeah, I think he's going to play whatever side he thinks he could. I mean, what is that guy going to get out of being president? First of all, I mean, you
He
know
gets
what,
to set an agenda,
Right.
and some of it will get passed.
Look at his net worth.
How many
Do you know what
judges?
Bernie Sanders' net worth is?
it's huge, right?
No,
Oh, it's,
it's
not.
less than $500,000.
Oh, Jesus.
He
His
is,
I
biggie,
didn't know that.
he
Yeah.
is the closest thing to a common person
Wow.
that was
Yep.
intended to be elected as a senator or representative as is in the
his
race.
big push obviously will be single payer healthcare, which I grew up in England. Every
Different, yeah.
other conservative in the world likes national health, except
Yeah.
in America,
Yeah.
where you practice neoliberalism
That's-
rather than conservatism. Look it up, and you'll see that I'm right. However,
I can't go that deep.
I even though I am a supporter of national health in England, I support it because the government owns the infrastructure, and
Right.
that's why it works.
It-
Here, the infrastructure is all private,
yeah.
and it will be
It'd be so
it'll
much
be just
infighting,
another
yeah.
insurance program,
Right.
and the
It's called
costs
something
will
different.
continue to climb. It will continue to cost
uh,
us more and more and more and more. I think the only way for it to work here, and I hate to say it, the only way for it to work here would be for the government to suddenly say, you know what, we own all this infrastructure now.
Yeah.
Too bad.
Well, here's the thing: is we have to deal with the VA, the Veterans Administration, and if you take a look at the Veterans Administration being, a government healthcare system, you'll kind of see. I mean, I've heard horror stories in Canada about waiting, 8 months for surgeries and
Yeah,
stuff
they
like that.
have an insurance-based system again.
Yeah, so it's
Private
just called
infrastructure with an
something different
insurance-based
something.
single-payer system.
So
And it's
I mean,
failing dramatically.
I called because I've been having trouble with I've got a degenerate disc disease in my back, and I think it's getting worse because I'm starting to feel these pains, and it's kind of like I called for an appointment, and yeah, they gave me one. I called in November, they gave me one in April. Yeah, that's
Right.
good. I mean, see what everybody here at the table's doing. They're shaking their head, going, "Wow, 6 months, that's good."
That's
If
what
you
I
go now,
believe.
you might get a parking space.
But that's how it would be for everybody under a single-payer
Sabo
system.
up.
And that's why
Yeah.
most of the Canadians have come across the border because of the fact they're having to wait.
Well,
And in England, you're age tested out of the system as well. If you're 70-year-old
So
with cancer, too
yeah.
bad.
So the
Put you out
death
in the
panel.
pasture.
They're
Yeah,
not going to
the-
waste money treating you, which I actually do agree with. I mean,
Oh, boy, man.
when,
What's your last
dude,
At-
if
at
I'm
what
7,
point?
if I'm 70 and I have cancer, pull the damn plug. Seriously.
Crickets.
Crickets.
I just that one's
Yeah.
gonna be hard for me to
Yeah,
go
it
along with.
depends on the individual quality of life, I think, on
Yeah.
that instance.
Right.
'Cause my family members that pass away from natural causes are all in the 90s.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The youngest one to pass of mine was 92.
No, we're talking about the healthcare and everything, and that's a wonderful program. But what's one of the more important things that the next president will have to do? And do you want this individual,
Well,
like I
it's
said,
going to be the fight on terrorism.
fight
That
on
will be
terrorism?
the
one,
biggie.
Well, I say immigration.
immigration. What
Immigra-
about
and that's where
the
we're going next,
56
so.
vacancies we have for federal judges?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
That's going to be a huge.
Yeah, and potentially 4 Supreme Court
Supreme
justices.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because she's gonna go. You know which one I'm talking about on the Supreme Court.
Because
She's already leaning.
who do we
Oh, Ruthie.
who do we want to put in there? Who's going to elect those people?
All right, so Alex is showing me we got about a minute here. Recap on this little segment. Night's flying right away. We kind of bounced around a little bit, but man, some great topics here. We're hitting education. We're hitting the Democrats. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Republicans, and we're going to talk about those top issues, Barry, that you're talking about: global war on terrorism, and of course the immigration refugee. And then Paul asked if we could talk about term limits in there as well. So that'll be in the next segment. You ready to go to a commercial?
This microphone smells like poop.
Yeah, it's would you rather? This is the world according to Mike. Keep listening.
The number of nominations currently waiting Senate action is 32. There are 9 vacancies in the United States Courts of Appeals, 57 vacancies in the U.S. District Courts, 4 vacancies on the Supreme International Trade Court, 11 federal judicial vacancies.
One president's not going to be able to get all those.
No, but they will fill the void in nominations. And that's what Obama's done. I mean, Bush even tried to do that, and Democrats blocked him, and that's what the Republicans are doing to Obama right now.
They're going to try to cram a 10-pound turd down a 5-pound pipe, and it'll just get blocked up. Ridiculous. Because if we put a Republican in office, the Democrats are just going to fight everything. It will no longer have anything to do with what is sane and what is insane. It'll be party lines, and it'll be ridiculous.
And due to lack of supermajority,
Or a president that'll kick somebody in the ass.
The last time you had,
are you bitching about Obama's executive actions?
Well,
Do you?
Come
yes
on.
Or no? Yes
why
or no
does
question.
he have to pull executive
Yes or no?
action?
They all do it.
Huh?
Every single president does it.
Bush had them.
All of them.
Yes.
All of them.
But okay, which was Bush trying to do? Which executive orders was Bush pulling off?
Let's pull up a list of them.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. You pull up that list, and I bet you're going to see things.
What I'm getting
that-
at, though, Mike, is people complain, and trust me, I am not an Obama supporter.
Oh, I know.
People complain about his executive actions.
Everybody's done.
Everybody has done it. It's the content of the executive action.
Okay, yeah.
291.
Yeah. I mean, even
What's his latest one?
200.
the gun control. See, that's something to me.
Bush had 291 total.
Yeah, but they were. I think if we look at them, you'll see.
I want to say one of his was immigration from 2008, which basically turned into nothing more than an amnesty. Anybody who lived here prior to this date, you're there.
Well, they're
And the
gonna.
other part,
well,
I mean,
you're here
okay,
with us.
is an executive action the next guy in office and say,
No, yeah.
you're
But-
done, have a nice day.
When was the last time you saw both parties come together and do something? Because I can tell you the last time I saw it happen. Say again?
Welfare to
I
work.
was gonna say Desert Storm.
It was prior. I mean, it was after Desert Storm. It was the last time the budget was balanced, and the Democrats took credit for it. But it was our guy from Georgia, who was the Speaker of House, who pulled everybody together and made it
Before
happen.
that, though, was welfare to work.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
Clinton.
When did they
It was
balance the
Clinton
budget?
Gingrich.
I
Yep.
thought the-
Clinton and Gingrich came together, passed welfare to work, and then they were able to pass balanced budget amendment. Not an amendment, but they were able to balance the budget.
But see, the thing is, they worked together.
That was during the contract with America that
That's
GOP
right.
had.
Contract.
That's how it was. Contract.
Never got reelected.
He fought. He resigned.
Term rep.
Right, but he resigned because of a scandal over an affair. So he resigned as speaker.
Yeah.
Fair in the White House.
Well, I mean, that was a Democrat. I mean,
Gingrich on Facebook. Yeah, man. I talk to her about every other day.
I
They
saw
travel. Holy.
there was a little thing on Facebook today. It had Hillary standing up and saying, "It's time for a woman to be in the White House." It had a picture of Bill Clinton behind her and saying, "There's been a few."
Mhm. Or how about the one where he goes, "Don't tell nobody I'm voting for Trump."
I saw that. That's fun.
Wow.
Or when he's standing next to Chelsea and Clinton's going like that, and Chelsea's going, "Dad, that's Bruce Jenner."
Well, they're trying to get her set up to run for president here in a few years.
God,
Look, hey,
she's
I'm a white female,
no way.
and I'm like, no way. If it's not the right person, it doesn't need to be. a
Yeah,
female.
you need to get her directly involved in the
She- I
conversation.
keep
here.
looking over at her, and
Jump in.
what she's doing is she's looking at me like this, like Michael. So I'm not, because I know that she was okay with just. She said she just wanted to be a guest, but I was like, now you're gonna sit at the table. So I value any response that you have. Please chime in.
Well, see, these guys get overheated about it,
Well,
and
I know. I saw
Yeah.
that.
you and I, he wanted to.
did you see me say ha ha ha?
Yeah, like sure, big fella.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's not gonna happen.
That's
No,
Yeah.
trust me, when I find something I want to respond to, you'll know.
this big guy, he's been in the shit for freaking 30 years, And you go sit in his office and you see pictures of stuff that happened a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. I remember I brought my first OER into him and set it down in front of him. He was laughing his ass off. Remember that time I brought my first OER? I had found it in Sid Purrs, like doing something over in Jackson, not Jackson, and Forsyth. And I walked down your office and I said, "Look," and he read it and he goes, "God, you ain't changed a bit." But that's when OERs were, that son of a bitch knows how to fly,
Yeah.
It wasn't all the freaking same
Cocksucker
crap.
can fly.
Yeah.
Crap.
Oh, it was freaking
1
funny.
minute.
Oh, I think
I remember pulling up my SOER from the 80s, and it was 124 124.
Mhm.
And I remember showing one of my soldiers was like, "What's that?" That's the old system.
Yeah.
That's the way it used to be.
Yep.
Damn, I got a bunch of messages. I wasn't paying attention.
I got absolutely no freaking service.
You serious? It's
Sprint.
Mike Carter says,
Service.
looks like y'all are having fun. I'm
Why
gonna
you're
tell
not
him.
getting service?
Mikey.
It's your phone.
It is.
Now, somebody's saying that phone line's not working.
I called it and it worked.
I know.
Oh wait, maybe the app has to be open. I don't know. Jesus God. Mike, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, we're back. We weren't ready to be back, but I'm back. By God, I was reading some text messages. Big Mike Carter was telling me how sexy I look, and Boggs is asking if there's a show on tonight. And I'm telling him, yep. And let's see. Then there was a problem with the phone line. I think we got that fixed.
Possibly ask them to try calling again.
All right, let's see. I'm gonna say try again.
The
Looks like
Boggs
they got.
Meister.
I use my own phone in the studio. It's easier.
Yeah, he has a, what would you call it? A Google.
It's Google
Google
Voice.
number.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he also knows how to do this thing called Google Hangouts, which I haven't had an opportunity to look at, but it's pretty cool. It's kind of like Skype, I guess.
Yeah, it's a video. It's you basically set up the Hangout and anybody can jump in with on their video on their webcam.
That's pretty cool. That's definitely pretty cool. Is there a reason why you're not wearing headphones, or
Yeah,
just don't feel like it?
yeah.
Okay. Hey, you know.
There you go.
Uh
Now I'll have to hear the call.
oh. All
That's
right.
Mike calling.
All right, there, caller. You've got the world according to Mike.
What's going on, big brother?
Oh, sounds like Big Mike Carter.
Big Mike Carter. What's up, Big Mike?
It's got
What's
it.
up, big bag, boss man?
Not much, brother.
You know, we got a poll going. Can you hear me?
What's on a point?
We got a poll going.
What you got?
How much do you weigh, Big Mike?
Wow, pot
How
kettle.
much do I weigh? About 325, baby.
325. You won.
I won. That's
Yeah,
20,
Barry won.
25 pounds less than what you said, Mike.
I said 350, you fat bastard. Hey, you know, we got Paul and Shelley Huber with us tonight. If you're
Yeah,
not,
I bet you know on the app, baby.
oh, okay, cool. How's Stephanie and my baby?
Oh, they're doing good. They're doing good. She just kissed me good night, but the baby kissed me good night.
Oh, okay.
You know, she's about 4.5 feet tall, 6 years old. You know how we roll.
My God, she's a Carter.
I was going to say, if she's any kin to Mike, 4.5
You know
feet
that.
tall and 3 foot wide.
And how old is she? She's 6?
Yeah, she's 6.
6 years old.
Good God.
Good God Almighty. Poor guys, poor little guys in what, 2nd grade? Jeez. Boy, the
I know
lag
about the
is,
boys. You know, we just stomp on them.
yeah, that's the Carter way.
He'll either pick them up and body slam them. One way or
Yeah,
the
right.
Okay, so a funny story. We're getting the crap kicked out of us in Camp Phoenix, and crap's blowing up, and damn radios are going wild. And suddenly I see Sergeant Major Smallwood bust out a door, and I look at Mike Carter, and he goes, "Son of a bitch!" And for some reason, Sergeant Major Smallwood decided to run around and check on, well, everybody.
Yeah.
He comes.
Everybody.
That's my job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Sergeant Major comes back in, and he's just as bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, and Big Mike Carter's.
I need oxygen.
And then he took you on a trip around Ring Road, didn't he?
Yeah, we went to Herat, stayed around the Wild Wild West for a little bit.
I thought he was going to talk about our trip out to Herat.
Yeah,
For the
well, he
4th of
did. He said,
July.
right. And then
Yeah.
I think you went to Mez too,
To
didn't you?
Mez once.
Yeah, just pulling Carter
Yep.
and taking him anywhere in the country for the hell of it. Just traveling around. What
I
the
got
hell?
caught on one of them trips with him.
One of those fiascos.
We went up to Maymana to deliver a VSAT
Yeah.
to you guys up there.
Yep.
We all
Thought he
flew
was
up.
never going to come home.
We're stuck.
I was stuck up there over 2 weeks. Everybody else got on a damn plane, hopped back out before, and they didn't have room. So I got stuck there before I could catch a flight back out of Maimana.
And a sweet flight it was.
Yeah.
Sweet flight
All
out of
routes went
Mamana.
black. It's like,
Yeah.
I was packed for 3 days, stayed there 15.
Hey, get this. Like when we first, the other unit left, and here we are filling their shoes, and Sergeant Major comes back from one of his excursions, and we haphazardly threw together a freaking PSD and vehicles and drove all the way up to Bagram, through Indian country, all that crap. We get up to Bagram, and he's sitting there, and the first thing he does is chew my ass out. It's like, hey, Sergeant Major, haven't seen you. Major, I've been waiting for 2 hours.
Well, see, I thought he was going to talk about being up there at Fort McCoy when I snatched 3 doors off a Hummer.
Oh yeah. There's anger management issues. There could be a whole series of shows of me watching Command Sergeant Major Smallwood destroy either people or personnel equipment. So I was the target of his affection one time in the Serena Hotel in Kabul.
Did the individual that was there at Fort McCoy, did he not progress?
But yeah, he basically did what you said. I don't want to ever see you again for the next 5 years. And I mean, this E7 just vaporized. There was just some Velcro burning. It was a smell of burnt Velcro. I remember too, because I kind of started that fight.
Yes, you did.
The day prior, though, we were at the range, and the unit that was doing the training, they looked at me and asked where the earplugs were for the people shooting. I went, man, I'm S3. I'm operations. What the hell are you talking about?
Why.
Yeah, I was so upset that I went over in the tall grass and I just fell over. And I was laying in the grass like I was dead, looking up at the stars. And my phone rings, and it's Mike Carter and Jason Standard calling me from, where were you guys?
They were.
I don't know. I think we were in Jackson.
No, you were in Stewart.
They were Stewart.
You went down to Stewart, and the first thing they said was, hey, Madsen, you got any CLP? You got any break free? I'm like, shut up. And so I'm just laying there freaking pissed off beyond compare. And Sergeant Major Smallwood comes over and leans at me, and he goes, oh, hell no, you're not getting out of it that easy. I'm like, God. But, yeah. Is that Stephanie yelling at you?
No. That was the 6-year-old brother, baby.
Okay. All right. Well, what's going on down in Savannah? I mean, it's what, January? It's still humid down there, isn't it?
Oh, we got a little bit of humidity, not too bad. It's about 35 degrees outside right now. It's beautiful.
Oh, wow.
That's nice.
I've never heard of it being 35 degrees in Savannah.
Yeah.
Well, 35 degrees Celsius, maybe.
Everybody's buying milk and bread.
Oh, yeah.
Milk red beer. Milk red beer.
Milk, red beer, milk, red beer. I like it. It's a good thing. So anything else going on with you? How does it feel to be retired? Did they give you any?
Well, I still work 60 hours a week. Are you kidding me?
Hey, that's different. You work for Kabuto or Kabata, or how do you pronounce it?
Komatsu, baby. Komatsu.
Kamatsu. I was close.
Komatsu.
Friggin' Russian, Japanese. I don't
Yeah,
care.
you're close enough, I guess.
Yeah, whatever. Got a big bulbous head. If he was proportionally as tall as the size of his head, he'd be 9 feet. Easy.
Okay.
Look at a pot calling the kettle black.
Oh, that ain't no joke.
Hey, we don't use racist
Barry
terms.
has no mid-fault.
We don't use racist terms on this show. Call the pot calling the
What's racist calling
the cannabis. So,
Yeah.
You can say cattle. Like I said, pot cattle.
no, he said black. We can't say black. Well, I can't say black.
You can't say cattle.
Well,
I
I
can't
can't
say
say
He can't say much of anything.
I'm gonna start a new executive order that goes off of cannabis oil for vaping for veterans. What do you think?
Well, I mean, who is this going to govern?
Big Mike, are you gonna be with me?
Yeah, I'm still with you.
Can you imagine me and Big Mike stoned?
You'll be able to get weed on EBT before too long.
I heard that story earlier today.
Good Lord, look at all the pizza we'd eat.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Can you imagine? we would call Pizza Hut and they'd say, well, it's going to be 30 minutes for delivery. We'd be like, bitch, we're standing outside.
I'm actually,
Get your weed and your snacks on the same time.
I'm actually researching to do the medical.
We
program.
will share the buffet people for boy.
That's right. That's
I
right.
can't wait. I'm doing a bit of free weed. I can tell
Yeah,
you
I
that.
know. I think we're all entitled to a little free weed. A contact high from a vapor. That'd be great.
Let's go to Colorado.
Yeah, really. Colorado.
Well,
Well,
that's where the one of the legalized marijuana shops has started the process to accept.
yes.
EBT.
EBT.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
yeah. Well, you know,
dang.
Oh, you can't blame them. It's legal.
hey,
It's-
I tell you what, the
I
whole
know.
EBT thing, there was a great
Yep.
discussion this
It's a
morning
vegetable.
on the morning show. It's a
And a fruit.
vegetable. It's made by the French.
Hey, I gotta run.
All right, Big
Been
Mike.
pleasure talking to y'all.
All right,
I got to go, folks.
Thanks
Take
for
care, Big
calling in,
Mike.
brother.
Good, buddy.
See you.
Nothing matter for that. I party with me one time.
That's probably not going to
Absolutely.
happen.
All right, bye.
Yeah,
See you.
bye. Shelly, finally, she said something. Man, would you please repeat what you just said?
Sure. He said it was a vegetable, and I said, well, you're supposed to have 5 to 7 servings a day.
That's right.
Absolutely, man. You talk about free education.
Telling you.
Yeah, what they call that movie? That
We'd be
was
a
called
much
Accepted?
more happy nation.
Yes, yes. I know. I'd be much more happy if I
Butterfingers
take
for everybody.
any more gabapentin on a daily basis. I swear, my kidney's going to come out of my ass. It's ridiculous. I take 2,700 milligrams of gabapentin a day.
600
Four.
here.
My feet, plantar fasciitis, and I broke my foot, leg, and ankle on the left side.
Jeez.
That is so much freaking gabapentin. It's ridiculous. So that's why during the next break, I'm going to go get a Budweiser. So,
All right.
all right. So executive orders. How long we got? Just out of curiosity before I
7 minutes.
7 minutes. I can blow this out. Okay. Here's a discussion before we went on break and before we got silly. We were talking about executive orders, and Mr. Huber was yelling at me. It brought back some bad memories, and I
Again.
think I peed a little. All right. So basically, what he was asking me was, do I agree with executive orders? Correct. Was the question more, do I agree with Obama's executive orders, or do I agree with executive orders
Do you agree
in
with
general?
executive orders in general?
Okay. And I said yes, because I realize that every president's had them. I'm just concerned in the way this current administration or this current president is utilizing them.
In what regard?
The guns.
So you're concerned about, I'll say it for you the way I think you're trying to. You're concerned about the constitutionality of his executive orders.
Yes, you can't just come up with an executive order that changes what is constitutional. The Constitution's not for the government. It's for me.
You're absolutely right.
Okay.
And before they issue an executive order, their lawyers and the Justice Department, they go over it and they determine whether they believe it is constitutional. And if other people believe it's not, they get to challenge it. And that's what
Well, who
will
are-
happen with, well,
Who are the
Congress-
other people?
Congress,
Okay.
somebody can file a lawsuit. It can go through the court system. The
Yeah,
thing is,
I'm going to die in
Just
40
tie
years.
it
the
up.
thing is, whether they're, people will argue whether these latest round of executive orders on guns are constitutional. I do not believe they are. However, it's going to take a year or two for
Easy.
it to go through the courts.
Okay, so
And
he'll be
in
gone.
the meantime, they will be enforced. Now, the next president could
Sign
Okay,
them out.
strike them out.
Right.
Okay, so they're enforced as soon as
but
he
it's-
puts them out. As soon as he
But I'll
signs
tell
them.
you this:
Okay.
they all
I
say
didn't
it
know
while
that.
every president, while they're campaigning, says, "Oh, I'm going to eliminate the executive orders of the previous president."
Right.
Very, very,
Very few
rarely
do.
does
That
that
is
happen.
correct.
Very rarely.
See? Good point. Good point. Now, okay, I'm a Trump supporter. All right. I like the complete unconventional. I like the asymmetric views. I like the loudmouth, the brash, all this other stuff. I think he will break down some of these executive orders that Obama's came up with. Because one, he's a gun guy.
No, he's not.
Trump's a gun guy.
Okay.
I look, there's a lot of people that disagree
Well,
with me on
okay,
Trump.
he is now.
Yeah.
Let's say he's a gun guy.
And
now.
that's all I
Now.
care about. That's
Okay.
all I care about. I was a thin guy 20 years ago, but
Because
I'm not now. So
That
who
carries
cares?
votes.
Okay.
That carries
Yeah,
votes.
right.
Yes.
Alex brings up a good point. He's a gun guy now.
Yeah.
And listening to Rush Limbaugh this afternoon, Trump is saying what most conservatives in the United States want to hear.
Right.
I
He
agree.
is the non-traditional, non-establishment candidate.
But do you
What's gonna
agree
happen
to the
if
lights
he
of
gets
we've never
elected?
seen before? Why the hell is my emails are falling out of sync for some reason? Do you agree though to the lights that we've never seen before? I mean, come on, Trump is talking about stuff, and I agree. He's saying things that he's changed from day one, obviously,
Right.
and he's become more conformist, I guess you would say. But
No, I don't think so.
you don't think so?
No.
I think he's toned it
Not at
down a
all.
lot.
No,
I think he's toned it down. But here's the thing: is
he's starting the attacks just like every other politician now.
he's been attacking since day one.
That's what got him all the free press, which put his name out there in front of
Yeah.
everybody.
Right.
Yeah, he's not spending the money. He's getting the free press, which has never happened before. He's bringing up insane topics on immigration, on his Trump wall, on Mexico paying for
What's
it.
insane?
Well,
If I'm not mistaken, there was a law against the Muslim religion or what have you, people, refugees coming in the 50s.
right.
And also
There was another one.
President Carter
Yeah.
stopped it right after 79 or after the
79, right?
in
Okay.
79.
So where are we at on time before I jump into this one?
About 2.5.
3.5 minutes.
All right,
Okay,
so
so
let me go
now-
ahead and plant the seed and get everybody pissed off. Okay, I'm not going to sit around and listen to bashing on someone's religion, okay? Because I'll tell you right now, I'm Christian. I know I'm supposed to be persecuted. But here's the thing is if we're going to ask people at the gate, what religion are you? And they know if you're Muslim, you can't come in. They're going to say, Baptist.
Not come in, but go through the application of the
Process.
process through
Yeah.
the law.
Right.
That's that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All he wants is the application and the process to go through. It may take a 2 to 5 year period to make it happen.
Can
That's
they come
what's-
to the door?
They can come to the door.
Absolutely.
They can, wait,
come,
wait.
They
They
can
can
come.
come in the door.
That's what I was going to say because you said come to the door, and I know you. You would get me on a freaking technical.
But the other part of that, in order to get through that door, once they come to the door, to get through that door, there is a
Standard.
series of steps. There is a standard that they need to do.
But
they need
isn't
to
that what is in place now?
Exactly. But
But
the driving factor now is getting the refugees in.
what's
Right?
the difference-
California
what's the difference
just
between
said,
an immigrant and a refugee?
California just stated that they can vote.
No, they didn't.
Here we
They
go.
did not.
Oh, here we
They
go
did not.
again. Him and I had
Listen,
this out
let's talk about this. Let's talk about this after the break. I actually have a rather unique perspective on this because I was an illegal alien.
And that's what I was going to say.
And,
You
Yeah,
get to
you
go
let
through
in,
the
you let
process.
out.
And we'll talk about it. But what they have done in California is not
Good.
it's not allowing people to vote. Don't let the headlines mislead you. And I'll explain what they have done when we get back.
Now, but okay, so real quick, how long we got? About 2 minutes? Okay, check this out. The process in which from and I can't use my grandfather. He did go through the process, but I don't know it. But you'd be more obviously. Okay, so you come to this country on a visa, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so now they know all your information. They know where you live. They know what you're doing, right?
Not really.
Not really. So
They don't. I mean, they don't know where you're staying or anything like that.
I thought when
because
you applied
people
for a
come,
visa,
people come here and travel.
yeah, but I'm saying now that would be a travel visa,
It's a tourist. People come on
Okay.
a tourist visa,
right?
which obviously you get to travel freely all around
Well,
the United
But
States.
isn't there student visas and isn't there work visas?
There are those are different,
Okay.
and
And
Pretty
there,
much
there are different durations too,
the
right?
the
Right.
abuse generally comes with people coming in on a generally actually the visa waiver program where you get on the plane, you fill out a form on the plane. As long as you're coming from a country that is part of the visa waiver program, you fill out the form. You can
Yeah.
come in for 2 months without any kind of visa, and then it's on the honor system that you leave.
Oh, it-
Now
Oh
I
my God.
came with a 1-year visa.
Uh-huh. For
My
a purpose, though, right? Yeah.
my intention was to stay for a year. I ended up meeting obviously a girl, and I ended up overstaying my visa. However, I will tell you this: when I knew I was going to be here for a year, as the day I got here, I got a social security number, which
Right.
back then you could,
Yeah.
even as a non-citizen, and I registered for selective service.
Okay,
The-
so they
the-
had an idea.
The day, yeah, the
Yeah.
day I got here, and it's a damn good job I did, because I would never be able to become a citizen if I had not registered for selective service.
Okay,
I
so
found that out. I
But-
found that out about 20 years later.
But when they come in, it is a 21 step process that takes 18 to 24 months to satisfy. Now, go back about 25 years ago with the merchant ships coming in, the
Mhm.
Soviet merchant ships coming through New Orleans and all those areas.
Corpus Christi.
Those people came off the boat, had 30 days free leave anywhere they wanted to go, unrestricted.
And how many came back, right?
Exactly.
All right, let's jump to a break.
All right.
Real
Hey, I
quick.
tell you what, it's the world according to Mike, and my family's from Sicily. I love you guys. We'll be back in a minute.
My family's actually from the Cheshire district outside of Edinburgh.
Outside of
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh.
Edinburgh. How do you say it?
came from Portopalo, Sicily.
Indiana?
Scott. I'm actually the 13th generation Smallwood in the U.S.
That's a lot
Traced,
of small
traced
wood.
all the way back, and we carry it back to 1210.
I just
Yeah, no,
21
my
steps.
visa expired after a year, and so
I know, but see,
for 2 years I was here illegally. Even though in that 2 year period we did get married. Then when
you weren't here illegally.
Well, I
plus
was.
You were
no,
waiting
that's
on
I was
paperwork
here
and-
illegally. I had no documentation whatsoever. However, I had a social security number. I was working. I was paying taxes, and I filed a tax return each of those 2 years, which again helped me when I got my green card. Hold on one second.
It's kicks. I bet you.
Hello.
That's what it is.
Hello, this is Captain Kicks. Who am I speaking with?
This is Alex. We're on a break right now. We're on a break right now. Do you want to hold on?
Yeah, sure, Alex.
Okay.
That's
That's Captain.
Am I
That's what that was.
am I getting a clear
You
voice
see, again,
tonight?
it's a misleading
Yep.
state.
Yep.
Yeah, it's very misleading because here's what's going to happen. Yes, when you go, same as here in Georgia, when you go to get your driver's license, they'll ask you if you want to register to vote.
Sure, I'm
However,
holding on.
illegal aliens are being issued a different kind of driver's license,
Right.
and they will not be allowed to register to vote. Yeah, I think the conservative media kind of it was well. Here's the problem. Mike sent me a story, and I read the headline, and I thought, wow, that's a bit iffy. Then I read the first paragraph. I'm like, oh, that's even more iffy. Then I read the body of the article and said, oh no, that's the same as here in Georgia,
Yep.
because federal real ID laws, which they still have to comply with in California, require you to show a social security card and or birth certificate and something like that. So if they can't show up with that proof of citizenship, then they're not going to get a full driver's license. My license now with a green card has term limited written on it, and it's tied to the expiration date of the green card, which again caused me problems because my green
It's hard
card
to do.
was set to expire, and I really should. I'm probably going to go over this again on the air, but my card was set to expire, and the federal government
That's
will
not
not
what's wrong.
let you apply for a renewal earlier than 6 months prior to the expiration. However, the current wait times for renewals are running at 9 months. So that means, and I could not renew my driver's license without a current valid green card. So my license would have been expired for 3 months before I got my renewed green card back, and it would have effectively made me. It would have put me in a position of having, honestly, I would have had to have driven without a license, or I would have had to have done something. So I write my congressman and I explain to him, what the problem is. No, I wasn't asking for help. I'm not saying I want you to fix it for me. All I'm saying is I want you to take a serious look at this federal real ID clause and look what it's doing to millions of people who are in the same position as me. At least let the driver's license be valid for 6 months after the
Drinking beer.
expiration of
Budweiser, it looks
Give us
like.
something.
yeah, some buffer, because I want to comply with the law.
I want
Yeah,
to. I'm doing what's required.
Yeah.
Help me out here.
Oh, that's how much you delay.
Work for me. You give me $500. No. I'm sorry.
You too. You Pole Dick, Polly Dick, Lucky Dick, whatever it is. Politics.
Hey, you guys
But yeah,
still on
so
break?
that's the beauty of it. Even with if let's say we implemented a voter ID requirement, even with my ID, I wouldn't be able to vote because my license, clearly states term limited,
It just
which
came out
would
last
indicate
week.
to them I'm not a citizen.
She said 28 years ago she was right.
So they have thought about it, and I think they have safeguards in place, but it doesn't prevent it because a lot of illegals do vote.
Like 30
I
seconds.
mean, I go
That's
back,
not new.
I'm sort of on the fence on this voter.
I agree. I agree.
I think we should have it. I mean, we force it. We just enforced it to Iraq and Afghanistan. Hey,
Yep.
show us something to show you instant vote.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I personally do agree with it, but I think the whole system is kind of the whole voting system. It is very archaic. I think the reason so few people vote is because they make it as difficult as possible. It is a pain in the ass.
They make it's a pain in the ass, and no one believes in the process now because they think the establishment's going
After Florida, who would?
The hanging chad?
Yeah, who would?
But I have to admit, looking back at that, I'm very happy having Bush as president with everything that happened shortly thereafter, as opposed to Gore.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Very much so.
I mean, Gore has made out pretty good selling all his network capability and everything he had to Al Jazeera, who just folded.
That's right. Two old people. Yeah. And the GOP is very diverse. And I said on Twitter that seems the GOP is now the party of diversity. We've got South American, Cuban. We've got a woman running. A Canadian of Cuban ancestry, and a black guy.
You're going to see take a split through the party. Independent, Republican, Democrat. I think you're going to see that. I think that Trump is going to end up having to go independent because the establishment of the Republican Party is not going to support
him. 30 seconds.
So you're going to have Bernie Sanders, Trump,
and remember, Captain Crunch is on the phone.
Captain Crunch.
Captain Crunch.
He said crunch. Why can't I hear myself, Alex? Is it really that
I
close
had to turn you down. You were bleeding over the other mics.
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right, it's World According to Mike, and I'm back. And I know if you've already ate your dinner, then you're probably saying, good deal. We got a caller on the line. Captain Kick, you there? You're going to have to turn down your radio.
Okay, I'm turning the radio down, but I think you've got me on like about a 30-second delay.
Yeah, we do. We do. And that's just so if you say any bad words.
Wow, that's pretty hard to do. That's pretty hard to do. Hey, guys, thank you for your service, and been watching your show.
Okay, thank you. And I imagine you're calling about the
All right.
immigration issue.
Absolutely. Whatever you want me to make a comment on.
Well, you called, and we're talking about immigration right now.
Okay.
So,
All right, give me 1 minute here, and I'm going to read you the immigration law in just basically one paragraph. Our immigration law is about 4 inches tall if you were to stack it up. But if you come across every section, which is mostly under Section 8, if anybody knows what that's about. So I'm just going to read you real quick the law. Section 274, felonies under the Federal Immigration and Nationality Act. A person, including the group of persons, business, organization.
Lost him.
oh, we
Oops.
lost him. We've been having so much trouble
Lost
with the
him.
phones.
Before he starts trying to tell you what the law is, let me tell you what the law actually is. There is no law. There is no federal law that against being an illegal alien. There are federal laws against illegal entry,
Right.
but
Right.
there are no federal laws about overstaying your visa and remaining in the country illegally. It is a misdemeanor. There is no federal law that covers it.
Is there, I don't want to say extradition, but I don't know what the word would be. If you get,
They have the right to remove you,
Yeah, okay.
obviously. But what I'm saying is, if you enter the country illegally,
right.
then there are laws that cover that. But if you enter on a
Mhm.
visa or even the visa waiver
And
program
overstay.
and
Overstay.
you do not go home,
Mhm.
there is no law on the books to prevent that.
Just like a process of getting in and being legalized is a process of getting
Why-
you out.
Why? All right, here again. CW2 obvious here. Why is this? Why is this in 2016? Why is it that there's absolutely no authority looking at people that have overstayed? Is it just not? Is it
Because
not
again,
worth it?
how are
I
you
mean,
how do you track them?
I know, man.
when-
but I mean,
I mean,
geez,
if somebody-
dog the bounty hunter.
Yeah,
damn.
if somebody comes here as a tourist and they plan on, let's say they're going to rent an RV and drive,
right.
how
Yeah,
are
but-
you gonna keep tabs on them? Do you send
Well,
an immigration agent with them everywhere they go?
no. Obviously, you can't do that.
Inject a tracking device on pawn entry. I don't know.
I don't know if the phone's broken or if he's just not calling back.
Yeah. Well, I got
Um,
another caller saying they want to call in, but it's not. It's going straight to voicemail.
All right,
Guys,
do
look,
me a
I'm just
favor.
going to apologize. We're having trouble with the phones.
Do you want to use my Google Voice? It
No,
works
sir.
all the time.
No, sir. No,
Okay.
I don't want to do that because different numbers and all. This is. We'll get it figured out. I apologize to people that are trying to call in. We have been having trouble with this for about a week or two. Doing a lot of renovations in the studio, and we're slowly but surely going from analog to digital. And the phone system is one of the things we have not looked at yet. So I do apologize. But let me get back to this. Alex, having obviously some good information here because of his experience, is saying that once you overstay your visa, there's no penalty other than a misdemeanor.
It's
Correct.
a misdemeanor,
Okay.
and of course you can be deported, but there's no law that prevents you from doing it.
Okay. So now here's my thing. This is what I'm going to ask the distinguished guests that I have this evening. Why is it okay? Let's do this first. How many people are overstaying their visa?
I think it was last year. The numbers just got released for 2015, and it was 400,000 people.
400,000
they estimate
people.
overstayed. Well, they put it this way: there were 400,000 that they don't have a record leaving the country.
There you go.
So-
Good point. Yeah, it's hard. You can't track it. You can't track it, right? Okay. Now, how many are we anticipating, or are we speculating that are crossing the borders illegally on a yearly basis?
I don't know.
Rough guess.
I don't
I
know.
have no
it's,
idea.
It's probably going to
Now-
be of that four.
I had heard, I used to get an FBI daily report. A friend of mine kind of added me to it, and it was really cool. I don't think I was supposed to get it, but at one time they said that they anticipated, or here again, speculated 800,000 Islamic or Muslims were illegally crossing our borders, okay, on an annual basis. So if that's 800,000, you got to figure if everybody else just rounded off, let's say 1 million, you're saying 400,000. So what,
no,
4
no,
million?
400,000 entered the country on a visa
Right.
and
And
did
don't-
not leave.
Or we don't know.
A bunch entered the country and 400,000 didn't leave.
D-
Actually crossing the border illegally, I've no idea.
DH,
Okay.
You're not
DHS DHS stated 500,000
Okay, you're
people
back on the air.
stayed over in 2015.
That stayed past their visa.
500,000 people.
Okay, so he was you're pretty
Yeah,
damn
it was
close.
400
Yeah.
something
Um,
thousand.
So what about the ones that never get a visa?
Exactly.
Oh, yeah,
That's
the
what we
illegals
don't know how
entering the
many
country.
how many
That's-
cross the
Right.
border.
Let's say a million. So that's 1.5 million
Sure.
entering or staying in the country
Yeah.
illegally.
And
Yeah.
then-
But
Annually.
I know it's a misdemeanor, but it's still
Well, no.
So-
If you enter illegally, that's a felony.
right. Oh,
If you
okay.
enter legally and overstay,
It's
there
a
is no-
misdemeanor.
yeah, it's a misdemeanor.
Okay, so that's 1.5 million folks. Is that enough people that really aren't being in the census? They're not being figured in for infrastructure. The census is not going to count them. Are they paying? Are they? Are they?
Anybody on?
Yeah, we're here. Hold on just a sec. Are our communities suffering from the base that's already here and the 1.5 million that we're talking about? How much is that affecting our infrastructures?
How do we know?
It's a cumulative
Well,
effect.
Okay,
We're saying
so
1.5 million last year. Okay, how long has this been going on?
right. So, and my point is every politician right now that's running for office that brings up the illegal immigrants question or comments, they say these astronomically diverse numbers. They'll say
Oh, yeah.
4 to 15 million. Now, look, Alex, a regular guy, he's a smart guy. I asked him a really tough question. He said 400 and something thousand. Barry looks it up from DHS. He says they're reporting 500,000. An everyday guy is within less than 10%.
Right.
Mhm.
And our own politicians that are running for the president of the most powerful country in the world can't give you a better number than between
Well,
4 and 15 million.
Right, and they can't because again, when you enter illegally, there's no record of you
Right.
entering.
Yeah, or
so,
leaving.
Right, so they don't know even what state you're in.
Right.
There's no way of tracking you.
Okay, so
Um,
if this country has 300 million people and there's 5 million people here illegally, whoop-de-damn-do, right? But if there's 15 million that we're guessing
Well,
Let
is
me-
probably
in,
bigger.
in 2013, there were 11 million that were documented. And out of that 11 million who had visas expire, 40% stayed over.
Jesus Christ,
Come on,
man.
40%?
Yeah, that's
We're talking over 5 million people.
hey, that's a damn good
And
that's a good deal.
That was reported in 2013.
I'm going to become what do they call those guys? Mules, coyotes?
So
Whatever.
think about it.
I'm going to
Think
make
about
some
it.
money.
We went from
Coyotes
5
in the
million.
army boots.
We went from 5 million in 2013-14 to 500,000 2015.
Right.
Somebody's doing something right.
Somebody's doing
Right.
something right.
and I wonder of those,
Hello,
4 or
Alex,
500,000,
copy?
how many of them were in the position I was? I was here illegally for 2 years.
Yeah, but you're
But
doing
I-
all the
I
steps.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I had a social security
Right.
number. I paid my taxes. I
Right.
filed a tax return
the,
for
the
for
selective
both of those
service.
years.
You were in the process.
I registered
Yeah.
for selective service.
But apparently
which-
40%,
which-
probably more, isn't
right.
doing that.
Now, it raises a question with me though, because when I went to get my green card, it really
thank you.
played into my benefit that I had filed tax returns.
Right. You had a-
They loved that.
yeah.
right.
You were doing the right
And
thing.
when I apply for citizenship, I have to provide my selective service registration number.
Right.
So
I was about to
So
read
people
that
who
right
didn't
there.
do
See,
that-
they're thinking just
Go
the
ahead.
immigrants. stuff.
Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller.
Yeah, this cap's in the back. My tenant tried to plug in a set of headphones. He's got his dog tags, and he reports for boot camp in March. I want y'all to rake his ass over the coals after I'm done with this. Okay, a person, including a group of persons, business, organization, or local government commits a federal felony. When she or he assists an alien she should reasonably know is illegal in the U.S. or who lacks employment authorization by transporting, sheltering, or assisting him or her to obtain employment, encourages that alien to remain in the U.S. by referring him or her to an employer or by acting as an employer or agent for an employer in any way, or knowingly assist illegal aliens due to personal convictions. You
Okay.
have 5 guilty parties.
what
You have
you're
5
saying
guilty
is that Americans are guilty of illegal immigration
Exactly.
rather than the immigrant
Not
themselves.
the immigrants, the
Yes.
people that are here.
Yes,
are
you
the
have
ones that
5
are
guilty
charged
parties.
with a felony.
Yeah, because I've actually had people that ran construction businesses that we worked for in the 90s that would hire my father's business out to do plumbing, heating, and air conditioning. And we would pull up on the site, and here's the law enforcement pulling the illegal aliens out of the construction crew. And all of a sudden, the head contractor goes away for 4 years.
Yeah.
Right.
And the funny thing is, the alien, if they entered legally and overstayed their visa, they have not committed a crime.
Exactly.
And
Right.
you know, Captain Crunch
Because
is
it's
right.
called
The-
a TPS. It's called a TPS. It's a temporary protective status. And also, when you're going
That's
through
for
naturalization, yes, well, it's also illegal immigration. But you have to understand, your mayor, your governor, your sheriff, even law enforcement, right now, because they're not doing anything about it, they're felons.
Yeah, but
Okay,
okay.
then you
but-
have your politician.
Yeah, but hold on
He's
now.
a
Hold on.
felon.
Whoa, whoa,
The
whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold
politician
it.
is
Wait,
a
wait,
felon.
whoa. Hit the pause button. Listen, I've
Okay,
I have ridden
okay.
I've ridden with law enforcement numerous times. And I'm going to tell you right here where we live, and I'm not supposed to talk about government below state level, but look, we pulled over a freaking pickup truck and it had 9 illegal aliens in it. Nobody had any documentation. Nobody spoke English. We couldn't get a dog out there at the time. So the guy asked them and they started laughing. They said they were illegal. Okay, so he gets the paddy wagon out there. Like 2 days later, when I see him, I said, hey, what happened to those guys? They said they released them. They can only hold them for so long. And I said, why? And he goes, well, we called ICE and nobody ever shows up.
bingo. You know, suggesting that mayors are
Okay, then
complicit
what
is
law
kind of
enforcement
ridiculous
is to do
because
at that point,
ICE and Border
law
Patrol are
enforcement is to
responsible.
go find ICE and arrest ICE.
Yeah, but what are you going to do? Civilian
ICE broke
or
the law.
what are you going to do? What do they call citizens arrest? ICE?
Ice.
We don't need Barney Fife running around doing citizen arrest.
How
Besides,
are
it's
you?
not ICE, it's DHS. It used to be INS. It's now DHS.
Okay, well,
They're under
Okay,
the
and what
purview
they're
of
doing-
Homeland Security.
I got the wrong freaking acronym.
No,
because
it's still immigration and
I thought it
customs.
was because
But
they just did the
it's
thing
part
with
of the
Fast and
yeah,
Furious.
it's part
Right.
of Homeland Security.
Just like
Well,
Coast Guard.
one actually goes after the hardcore drug addict on the border, ICE. You know, they're like the SWAT team.
Right.
DHS acts like INS.
Okay, I got you. All right,
Okay.
look, hey,
And then, but see, what's going on now, it's been going on for I've been a contractor here for 42 years. All right. What's going on now? They're just dragging their feet. Matter of fact, on the front page of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution today, court tackles immigration. 26 states are questioning Obama's executive order on this. Well, you guys were talking about executive orders and how it works. Well, if it's the Constitution and your immigration law is tied to Amendment 14, Section 1, it says, no state shall make, enforce, or abridge our immunization laws. Next paragraph is, law enforcement shall protect and serve everyone within its jurisdiction. See, if you don't, that's what makes you a sovereign nation. Right now, we don't have a constitution, so we are not a sovereign nation. You cannot use the Constitution to protect yourself. Okay, that's how they're getting away with all this.
That's
It was
gonna have
all
to be
done
a-
by design for cheap labor.
that's going to have to be a different show talking about the Constitution. Seriously,
Well,
but I mean, I think
no,
we brought out some.
immigration is tied to your immigration law is tied to the Constitution. That's what makes you a sovereign nation.
I got you. Hey, let me ask you a question. You said you're a contractor for 42 years. Have you ever had
Correct.
an illegal alien working for you? Be honest.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I had
Somebody arrested.
20 Latinos in 1990. 2 were illegal, and they worked for me for 2 weeks. After 2 weeks, they couldn't show me no documentation, no papers, no nothing, no green card, no nothing. Matter of fact, the cops pulled them over on the way to work. I passed them, and they showed up for work. And I'll never forget it. Their name was Romano and Maudo, and they were good guys. They're all right. But I asked them what happened, and they just stuck their hands up, and they talked to the Puerto Ricans and Cubans that I had, and they said, nothing. No driver's license, no insurance, no tag. They were an old Toyota Corolla. And I told them, I said, look, guys, you're not going through naturalization. I told you I'd try to sponsor you. They didn't have any. That's not the plan. Later on, we had 110 working in the same neighborhood in a company that I subcontracted.
All illegal?
But what I'm trying to say is, yeah, there was 110 illegals for a company that I subcontracted from. And they all were in a big 12,000 square foot house one day. And they were putting their names and numbers into a paint bucket. And I was up on the catwalk and I asked them, I said, what are you doing? And they said, we're having a lotto. And I said, what kind of lotto? And he said, watch. The winner of the lotto got a 9mm. And I went running down there and I said, no weapons on the job.
Jesus.
Get out of here. And they sat me down right then and there, because some of them could speak really good English. And they said, we are here not only to take your job and your women, but we are going to totally take your whole country because we feel that it is our country. And this is how socialism got imported. If you look at Stop the North
My
American
bullshit meter is up to here. It's up to here.
All right, look, we're gonna.
I'm sorry.
I'm gonna have to go to a break here, a commercial break, and then when I come back, I got to talk about veterans communities.
We're here
and
for
whatnot.
your we mean.
So, all right, how long we got? About 30 seconds. All right, give me about 30 seconds. Sum it up there, Captain Kicks, and then I got to go to a commercial.
Okay.
Well, go on. Sum it up real quick.
Yeah, so go ahead and sum it up, and then I've got to move to another topic. I'm giving you about 30 seconds to sum it up.
Okay, yeah, they said, that basically it was all done by plan. The first couple that showed up in the early 90s, they were honest. I taught them how to do their taxes and stuff. But as the drug cartel came in, they were very brutal. And it's all about taking over America. It's not what you think it is. It's not, hey, we're hungry, we need to work, and that kind of stuff. No, 85% of them were on EBT too, and they work too.
Yeah, we've heard that before, definitely. Hey, we appreciate you calling in tonight. Again, we look forward to your call next Wednesday. And we're going to take a break right now, and we got to help pay the bills around here. And when we come back, we're going to be talking to a gentleman that is setting up a, well, I'll tell you what, I'll tell you when we get back. This is the world according to Mike.
Good.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, with Al.
Is he, do you want him to hold on, or
No,
we're done?
I got to go to another topic. If you would just tell
All
me.
right,
to go to another topic. And,
Oh, I think he already left.
yeah, he probably did.
He was
And
on there
then
for a second.
When we come back, I need you to call that number right there.
Yeah, I saw that in your message.
Yeah, for Al. So Al is
Who is this?
this is a gentleman. He's setting up a program. Called
No, what's his? Let me know his name so I can
Al
answer for him.
Humbrook.
Al
He
Humbrook.
should answer the phone.
Okay.
He's setting up a community project called SSBRC, self-sustaining.
Is he
veterans-
American?
Is that the small
Yes.
house?
Okay.
Small house guy?
So he's not after our women. Who's all right? Is this?
Well, I can't do it.
Is Al calling back?
I can't do it anymore.
Hi, caller. What's your name? Hello.
That's on your Boggs.
Hey, it's Boggs on the line.
Oh, Boggs.
Put your headphones on so you can hear him.
Boggs. Boggy.
Yes, sir.
Hey, what there? Hello.
Put that damn sergeant major on there.
He said, put that damn sergeant major on. He's on. He can hear
What's
you.
going on, Bob?
How you going, Sergeant Major?
Oricada shi, changwa para shipsio mi hamdida.
Ah, contabida.
Nee, chumaneo. Oopso. What's going on, man?
His daddy.
Not too much. Just
This is.
calling that.
You want Boggs to hold on to it till the break's over?
He's just talking to him.
They're just hanging out up here with Big Mike. That's it.
All right, well, we'll be back on in 2 minutes.
Okay. Can you imagine family reunions?
This is your last.
Now get this, man.
Oh, you listening to this?
pretty awesome.
Well, you know, I'm not paying for it.
Okay.
Either way.
Hey, a buddy of mine.
No, I just wanted to do
He was W3.
call up and say
Military, he went to
hello to everybody
Oh, good.
Border Patrol.
and
And
Sergeant Evans,
used to fly OH-50.
getting pretty good.
I appreciate it,
Thanks
man.
to T. Rocking.
He said he
Good
would-
job.
he would-
Everything good in Riverdale?
He'd pick them up on FLIR. He'd call for the guys in the truck.
Say again.
He said he could. load
Everything
each
going
truck.
good for you?
You'd never see another Border Patrol agent.
Oh, yes, sir.
Hmm.
You know it.
So they're just so
Good,
fun.
good.
Danielle says hi, by the way.
I got a job.
Oh, really?
We
Yes,
working
you
on
do.
The blip they lost
1 minute.
20
I'm doing-
pounds
I'm doing
last
extra work.
This is your last
we're
segment.
getting ready to
Remember,
have to
it's
get back
19
online here and
minutes
start
long.
talking.
I can
So
stretch it out a few.
give
if
us a
you
call
want
while
to,
we're online again.
because I don't know what you want to fit in this last segment.
I'm not sure what.
All right, man.
Everybody's kind of bleeding over everybody else. So I can't really tell who exactly is talking.
What?
Everybody's bleeding over, so you can't hear anything.
Yeah, on the phone.
30
it's
seconds.
It's a pain in the ass. Boggs,
Yes, sir.
you're here. All right, I got to let you go, brother, because I got to make this phone call with this guy, the veteran doing the community.
20 seconds.
Okay.
Hey, that's no problem.
I love you, man.
I
love you.
just wanted to tell
10 seconds.
I just
I
want
love
to
Gotta go.
say, Major,
I love you.
Bye.
I'll be
See
the
you,
same.
Boggs.
And 3, 2, 1.
And we're back. It's the world according to Mike. And you know what? I'm not even going to try to summarize that last segment. It went everywhere. It was like the lights were off and we were shooting a shotgun.
I'm coming for your women.
It's coming. You know what? A guy sent me a thing the other day that said, he goes, are you dating anybody? I said, no, you're not my type. He said, no, seriously, I haven't heard you talk about anybody. And he said, he's making the call for me. He said, even Hitler had a girlfriend, dude. I'm like, damn. That freaking hurt, man. I've been, ow.
That's good.
Hello.
hey, what's going on, Mike?
Hey, buddy, what's going on? How are you, man?
Pretty good.
Okay, listen, we're dealing with about a 10 to 12 second delay on the phone, so it's a little bit tough. I just want to let you know that you're on the world according to Mike. So you're on internet radio and you're also live streaming on YouTube. Tonight's guests are right up your alley there, Coach. We got Command Chief Warrant Officer 5, Paul Huber. We've got CW retired, sorry.
Right. Don't forget the
Retired CW4 Shelley Huber and Command Sergeant Major retired Barry Smallwood. And of course, me, 007 Sexy. And I just go by that. I just go by that so everybody knows. Al, you're starting a great program. I'm getting behind it. I want to push it. And these gentlemen have all, and ladies have, you know, they've got some interest here too. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you talk and not deal with the delay. And why don't you tell us about SSVRC?
Well, the SSVRC is ideally what I would like it to be, is a self-sustaining veteran-run community. I mean, a place where veterans can go and live, not just homeless veterans, but people who have difficulty assimilating back to society and stuff. I'm a 14-year veteran of the Army. I was medically retired a couple years ago, and it's hard to walk down the street sometimes, you know, when you're in just one of those moods where somebody's going to look at you and think, hey, this is just some asshole on the street,
This means
rather
pain.
than knowing, hey, there's something wrong. What's that?
We are having a little debauchery here in the studio. I
Technical
apologize.
difficulty.
Please,
Physical
please
difficulties.
continue.
Michael.
What? Everybody, you know what? Everybody's a smartass. There's 10,000 comedians out of work, and everybody's trying to be funny in the studio tonight. Please continue, Al.
Well, I mean, still very new, the idea of it. And ideally it'd be something almost like a commune, but without the hippy-dippy crap. You know, someplace where we can live amongst ourselves and govern ourselves. You know, the government gives the Native Americans, they got their reservations. Can't give us a plot of land. you know, to do the same thing. We can build cheap houses and self-sustain it.
Okay. Mr. Huber, I believe you want
Al, this is Paul Huber.
Yep.
How you doing? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
We got it. We got it.
First of all, let me tell you, I can associate with your wanting to walk down the street and not talk to anybody in the world.
Amen.
Run across that several times. Secondly, I work for Habitat for Humanity now, one of the local affiliates. It's called Southern Crescent Habitat for Humanity down here in Georgia. Since you are, I want to say, what the first thing you need to do is looking at attaining 503C status. Okay. And I don't know if you've even gotten into that
Right.
yet. It sounds like you're pretty new in it. But you definitely want to get your 503C
Yeah, no, I have-
nonprofit status.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm still, like I said, I'm still pretty new at this, and you know, I'm not a college educated person. I just think that it's a good idea, and I'm looking for people to help out and give input to where we can make this happen.
Okay. The other part is not knowing what state you're in. I didn't see what area code you're in or anything. And you don't need to mention it or anything. But there are generally Habitat for Humanity affiliates in every state, every region to some extent. If you could tap into, and our particular Habitat affiliate has a Veterans Outreach Coordinator right now. He works nothing but
Okay.
veterans, but it's through Habitat for Humanity. The other side of that is we can either build new houses for veterans or we can do home repairs for veterans, depending on their status and everything. And just one other blurb, just in case anybody was wondering about this, Habitat does not give away homes. They actually build the homes and the homeowners pay for those houses, albeit at a 0% interest rate. Just a little plug there for myself. If you would reach out to your local Habitat affiliates, and you may have 2 or 3. I mean, I can reach out to 4 of them right now. Southern Crescent Habitat International right here in Atlanta, the Greater Atlanta Habitat, and Gwinnett County Habitat. I know people at all 4 of them right now. So they're pretty prevalent. You'd be able to get a hold of somebody at that regional affiliate that services you and try to partner with them. Okay? Great thing you're doing. And go ahead.
I was going to say, once I get a little bit more developed into the plan as far as land and everything, then I mean, that would be great. And the idea is because I know when you join the military, they teach you a job. Okay, there's engineers, you know, there's water purification people, stuff like that, to where they have the skills and we can work amongst ourselves in the community to support ourselves, you know?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And you can even take it a step further. My wife is very familiar with this one, and she's here in the studio tonight, too. Her name is Shelly. What's the name of that farmers group? If they wanted to start a gardening thing, what is that group they've got?
It's basically the Veterans Farmers.
Farmers Veterans Coalition?
Yes.
Okay. That's another one. You might want to keep that one in mind. Farmers Veterans Coalition?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that would be great to get everything started.
What you're talking about creating a self-sustaining community.
Yeah, I was talking to a guy about they're doing, I think they call them starships or something. They're basically homes that are made out of tires and stuff like that. And I like the idea, but with that, you're going to be limited on space. You can't build up, and you know, it'd be difficult to fit a lot of people in there. Whereas if we actually get the community going, we can build apartment-like buildings for people to live in, And, you know, we don't have to just stay amongst ourselves. You know, you can go out and go do whatever you want to do, go to the city, whatever. But just a place, you know, if you need to talk to somebody, you can go knock on your neighbor's door and talk to them, you know?
Understand.
Now, you know, I support a group with Danielle Kelly called the Foxhole Support Network. And one of the things that we do there is you post your name, you post your phone number, and you post where you live. And the whole thing is closed group, but it's as long as you're a veteran, you can get in on it. But the whole point of that is stop the 22, and everybody knows what that's about. Stop the 22 suicides, damn it, and call somebody. It doesn't matter. And believe me, I've answered the phone at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I may be bitchy, but I'll listen to you. And you're absolutely right. I think there is something that happens when veterans are around veterans. You know, we tell the same stupid stories, we use the same stupid acronyms, but there's this underlying thing that it's not so much that I know you got my back. It's just I know you've been in those boots. You know, there was a time when I spent 4 or 5 days in the same uniform, in the same boots, and I was getting out of a Rhino, which is an armored bus in Kabul, after a long mission, and I fell out of the damn Rhino, flat on my back. My interpreter ran over to me. I grabbed him. He fell down. I looked over, and my sergeant major is freaking laughing his ass. Didn't even come to see if I was okay. He was just laughing his ass off because he knew I was okay. We were just that tired. People in the regular world don't understand that. They don't understand the fear of every second of being in a combat zone. So yeah, you're absolutely right. We need more community involvement, man. And you know what? I think setting up a government for guys like us is probably not going to be that difficult, because I pretty much can look at any vet and tell you what they're looking for. Here's my concern, though, when you're talking about the housing. Look, we got to be careful doing this, that the housing is not substandard, because if it's substandard, then nobody's going to want to be a part of this, Al, because I can live in substandard housing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you got to make it nice, brother. Whatever it's going to take. Whatever it's going to take, it's got to be nice. It doesn't have to be big. I don't think any of us want big. You know, we just want nice.
No. Then you'd have to clean it.
Yeah. No concrete floors. Jesus Christ, I hate on-post housing.
I've seen those tiny houses. I mean, that would be perfect for, you know, you could fit 2 people in one of those. It doesn't take up a lot of space. It's got solar power.
I love it.
Water filters.
Yes, sir.
You know,
I love it.
And they're inexpensive. Anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000.
I think you could tie a lot of different programs in on this.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you go green, that would definitely bring in the government subsidies and you know, help and pay for the power. It could also help with the water. You're looking at filtration systems, things like that. But I mean, you also got to look at the entire marketing plan on this. What is it going to look like to someone who is not military? How are we going to bring them to the fold for them to better understand why we have to have our own little certain community? You know, we got to be able to sit back and war game everything that's happening, because one thing we don't need is somebody with a 9mm one night go out in the middle of this little small community and start shooting things up just because, hey, we're a bunch of vets.
Right.
You know, we got to look at that image, the image that we're trying to project, that this is more than just a community. It is a healing community of everyone getting together.
And also what kind of setting you're going to have it in. Are you going to have it in an urban environment, a suburban environment? Are you going to have it in a rural environment, out in the country, away from everybody, to where they maybe create their own zip code eventually or something?
Right.
And these are not facetious questions.
Yeah, ideally.
You know, ideally.
And I don't mean to sound insensitive or offensive, but in this climate, you have to worry about that label of militia.
Yes.
Oh, God,
that's what I was just getting ready to go to.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because if you get all these like-minded individuals in one place, male, female, doesn't matter the race or religion, we've all been through the combat situation, we've got the stress. when you start collecting those individuals in different locations, watch out. Refugees are being put in camps. We're putting them in camps. And oh, Lord, next thing you know, we've got our own little militia army all over the South get ready to take over.
Right.
Hell yeah.
So one of the things you got to look at.
I'm sorry.
What
Was
you
that
gotta
out loud?
It's okay.
What you got to look at in your marketing plan there is how can you brief this and present it to the local populace within a 25 to 30 mile radius, because you got to saturate them with information.
Right. The very first
Right.
thing you're going to need is a professional PR firm.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes. And I think that if this was to be brought up
Correct.
through the administration, and I use the administration as far as the VA and some of the government agencies or government personnel that are from the military,
Exactly.
and let them introduce it. You don't need to be the sole person behind this. You've got to get, like Alex said, you got to have that professional PR marketing person who can stand up and talk to all the different agencies at their level. You're looking at people who's going to buy into this, who will assist you, who will pay money and donate money to you in your nonprofit to get you started. We've got to collectively come together as a veterans. I mean, we have a hard time right now getting people across the table from each other, black, white, Muslim, Christian, Catholic, Jew, what have you. So, this is a common factor that everyone has who's been in that situation. So that is the common ground that you build from.
Well, Al, buddy, I tell you what, I think it's a great thing that you're doing. I hope we've given you some talking points. I want to invite you to call us back weekly. And God knows, I hope we have the phone thing straightened out, but call us back weekly and just kind of give us, a sit rep on what's going on, man. Give us what they used to call that, a cub, combat update,
battle update.
a battle update,
Update brief. Yeah.
and then a rub. That was different. I'll tell you all the story about time Sergeant Major cornered me on a stairwell and farted on my leg.
Why are you bringing up Congressman Weiner again?
Al, we love you, brother. And if there's anything the world according to Mike can do for you, you've got my number. You've got us on Facebook. You got us on website. I'll gladly try to bring it up during the morning shows whenever I'm doing fill-ins. If there's any veterans out there that'd like to get in touch with you, would you like to give out your number or an email address?
Yeah, they can go on Facebook.com/SSRV or SSVRC. I'm sorry, and they can get in touch with me. My contact information is on there. Yeah, I guess I should plug it right. I guess. Also, they can email me at aj.humbracht, which is my last name, HUMBRACHT @iCloud.com.
Well, buddy, we really do appreciate it. Speaking for the folks here at the table and any other vets, I appreciate your service. It was an honor to serve with you, whether I knew you or not.
All right, boys. It was good talking to you all.
You
Same
too,
here.
man. You have a good
too,
night.
brother. Be good.
All right. We got just a couple minutes if we want to actually wrap it up at 9, but I know Mr. Huber.
I
Sir.
just want to interject here.
Okay.
That's tough. The situation he's in.
Yes.
It's almost
And that
impossible.
we have a system and a society that lets people get to that point.
Right.
That's pretty disgusting of us, to
Well,
be honest.
you know,
How many, what percentage of veterans do you think are at that? Would you estimate are at that point?
Well,
I know it's hard to estimate.
Well, here
What do you
I
think?
can tell you this. This is a number that I do know, is that with all the veterans that are currently involved with the Veterans Administration, there are still 23 million veterans that haven't even started the process
I know
with the
yeah,
VA.
yeah.
I'm trying to get one of my friends right now to come in and
Yelp
Okay. Yeah, here we go.
Yeah,
Okay, I
a
didn't
friend
know
of-
that.
A
But
friend of mine is a veteran of the first Gulf War,
uh-huh.
and he ran into a lot of problems, alcoholism.
Yeah,
And he never we as a company
right.
put him into rehab. We
Right.
paid for his rehab
Right.
to try to help him out. And one of the options available to him was a VA rehab course but here's the thing. only after he went through private rehab.
Yeah.
So
man, I live
and
it.
he wouldn't have been able to afford it by himself.
right.
I'll
But
tell you
it's
right
it's a
now.
ridiculous system. You serve your country, you
Yeah.
you get some problems, And then their answer is, well, you have to pay for your own rehab before we'll put you into our rehab.
Do you realize that they charge me?
I'm
for
trying
some
to
of
control my
medication?
language.
Yeah, I know.
Quite
I know.
frankly,
Thank you.
but
Thank you.
it's fucked up.
Two things real quick. They charge me for some of the medication that I take that they prescribe to me, and they boast on posters and on their website how they saved $1 billion by making veterans pay for their medication. The second thing is the last shock I took kind of killed the hearing in my left ear. I kept it to myself. When I got home, I had it checked. The VA gave me a hearing aid. I've lost the hearing in my left ear. When I was standing there with Glenn Johnson, it was the left side that popped. Didn't say anything, but I wear a hearing aid. I put in my claim for my hearing aid that they give me batteries for, that they issued. I was turned down for my claim.
Yeah, it's insane. However, I mean, I mean, again, I don't mean to be insensitive, but that's
WTF.
nothing compared to what this guy's about to.
Oh
walk
God,
into.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This is
I mean,
this is nothing.
he's talking about millions and millions of dollars of investment.
It's
And
it's
he
a
is just
noble
one
cause.
of many. He is just one of
And
many.
isn't
that are
it
set up.
cool? He's just a guy. He even said it. He goes, I'm not college educated. He's just a veteran.
If he can pull this off,
It's
he's
amazing.
freaking Donald
Yes.
Trump.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
what he is.
Well, that's why
I hope he
him.
does. I
I'm
mean,
behind him.
yeah,
It's guys like this right here. I hate to say it.
they have
It's guys
a,
like this.
they
Okay,
have
these
a-
guys are the guys that you're talking about. These are the guys that can talk to the people
Yeah.
See, Alex,
at
you
those
just-
levels.
you-
I
you
agree.
You just brought up a good point.
hold on, let me just plug this real quick. The SSVRC have a GoFundMe set up where you can donate money towards the cause if you want to. I'm trying to find a link for you real quick. I saw it on
I saw
his,
it too. It's on there. It might be in the about.
I'm not sure, but I would go to GoFundMe and search for SSVRC
Right.
and you can make your donations there.
There you go. Now to go back, what I was saying is there's two gentlemen at this table right now that have done what you're talking about. These two guys talk to generals. Roadheaver. I know you can call him right now. I know if you were the most powerful warrant officer in the Georgia State National Guard, I know you can make phone calls. It's just God, right now it's a wisp. It's just a little wisp of an idea, but this guy is just a regular everyday veteran and he's sick and tired of it.
Well,
You
see,
know?
the thing it starts with one person saying, hey, I'm out.
I got to
here.
make a change.
There
I'm
you
out
go.
here. I want to do something. And that's where
There
it
it
takes calling everybody like this, get them together and starting that little conversation.
Yep.
And reaching out to somebody. I mean, Alex said, hey, why don't they get Trump involved? You can call Trump.
Yeah,
That's
Trump,
not
are
a
you
bad
listening?
idea.
Hey,
Donald,
I got somebody better to get involved. Arthur Blankenship.
Yep.
Huh. He runs what company besides the
Um,
Falcons?
damn, it's a big company. What do they call it?
Yeah,
Home
and-
Depot.
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
building stuff, right?
They got sawdust on the floor.
Tremendous.
Yeah,
Tremendous.
he's going to be
veteran
looking at
supporter.
a lot of he's going to be looking at a lot of
I'm-
capital infusion.
I'm proud.
And,
You know what? I'm going to be honest. I'm just proud to know the guy. Between him and Danielle,
kidding.
little old Danielle Kelly starting the Foxhole Network. Danielle Kelly is a freaking psychopath with huge tatas. Let me tell you something. That
Well,
chick is batshit crazy.
And just know,
And I
just know,
love her to death.
I can't put mine on the table like she
Yeah, yeah. And I love her to death, and I've loved her for 10 years, and her husband is great.
is. He's a good guy.
And these guys started the Foxhole Network, the little support group, and overnight it went to over 2,000 members. Isn't it a damn shame that the veterans are having to do this for ourselves?
Well,
Don't get me started.
the first thing they'll throw out to you is we have the Army One Source. Yeah,
Yeah, it's one source of freaking pain.
it's
Yeah.
not that good.
Mr. Huber, I apologize. We did not get to term limits.
I think they ought to be imposed.
Okay.
That's it.
I say if people are voting for them, stay as long as you want.
Let's see, that would have been my conversation. I could have had a
Well, no,
whole
that we're
5
spreading
minutes.
this out a little bit. I'm paying by the minute.
Whatever.
Shelley, please.
It's
And
real quick. It's real simple.
Okay, well,
We've all been in the military, and we move commanders all the time
Ooh.
because you don't want them to be stagnant. Okay.
yeah,
So-
but isn't it complete and utter BS that we got to deal with some freaking RLO all the freaking time? I was probably one of the only. Did you ever hear of a commissioned warrant officer?
Yes,
Okay,
Yes.
that
We are.
program.
we are.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that it was still going. I thought
Yeah.
it died years ago.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Okay, so when they were commissioning us, they were talking about we could be in command.
I was.
She
Okay.
was.
See, so here's the deal. You've got to admit, couldn't you have accomplished more if you stayed longer?
Yeah, but I would still get stagnant. At some point, you get to a point where you need to change your mindset and go somewhere else with a whole nother group of people because you've got to refresh your stuff too.
I know, but it doesn't.
Not just the people.
Damn, the deployments that we all went on. God, you'd show up. There was 6 months.
Representatives, the House of Representatives. They represent the people.
Okay.
The people that are in Congress right now in the United States House of Representatives have an average net worth of about $1.04 million.
Right. I've heard that.
Does anybody in here have that?
Not even if we combine it.
I got 29-inch waist and $1 million. Figure if I'm gonna lie, I'm going big.
Yeah, or small. Either way.
You know what? We're gonna have to wrap this up.
Hate
What a
it.
freaking amazing 2 hours. God, I love all of you. Shelly, thank you so much for the quilt. I'm honored. Like I said the last time, I really remember being around you was you singing Amazing Grace at a Fallen Warrior ceremony. We unfortunately had lost 7 right as we were getting on the plane. They had already arrived in country and something bad happened. What a bittersweet day. Okay.
And especially when she was loading me up on the plane
Yeah.
to go there
Well,
too.
that's why she was there, because you
Yeah.
were getting on the plane with me. And Sergeant Major Smallwood, I don't know what to say. I really don't, because you and I talk at 2 p.m. We talk at 2 a.m. We talk on Sunday afternoon.
But that's on that 1-900 number.
Well, I know, but it's $1.99 an hour. So we're getting the cheap girls. Okay.
Are you splitting the cost?
Well, yeah.
He
Bitcoins.
calls me.
Paying a Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, we're playing by Bitcoin. You're way past a brother. Yonder over yonder.
Ex-wife.
Yeah, absolutely. And what did Scotty say earlier? If I wanted clap, I would date your ex-wife. So what can I say? You're a part of my life. You have been for the last 10 years. Earlier today, you told me you're going to sit there and you're going to be quiet all day.
And I still
He
have.
lied.
You big liar. All right, Alex, thank
I
you.
thought I was going to get to talk.
No problem.
yeah.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you very much,
What a
sir.
great show, man. I'm going to go home and go to bed. I'm tired.
Really?
Thank you, listeners. I got the morning show to do tomorrow. So
I mean, I wish I was in Colorado.
cannabis vapor.
Amen.
Last thoughts, Mr. Huber?
Get out and vote next year.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mrs. Huber, last thoughts?
It's been an honor to be here.
It's been an honor to be with you.
Been an honor to be here, but before you vote, educate yourself and make sure you know what you're voting for.
Good point. Alex, what you got, brother?
In other words, vote Republican.
So that's it. Vote
That's it.
Republican?
Vote Republican.
All right.
Wow.
Hey, look, this is what I'm going to say. The world according to Mike, what I truthfully believe is, you know what? If you love somebody, whether it's God, whether it's your family, whether it's your dog, you better tell them. You don't know what's going to happen in the next second. So make this second count. It's the world according to Mike. Love you guys. Thanks for listening. We're out of here.
That was a good outro, Michael.
Outro. That's what you call it, an outro.
Yeah,
I was trying to-
I don't have one.
I was trying to tell somebody the other night.
It's
I-
good Xville.
Xville.
Exfil, there you go.
I was trying to tell somebody. I said, Alex calls it something. I can never remember what it is.
I faff through mine every week.
I tried so many different things. I tried Tap that app. I tried
Say goodbye to anybody watching the replay or the YouTube.
YouTube.
Wish I was in Colorado.
Thanks. Thank you.
Subscribe to our channel.
Subscribe and give it a like. Give it a
Yes,
thumbs up.
SSBRC.
And
You've got to get-
Mike will be back next week.
I will.
All right.
I will.
Bye.